and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In a wreck and need a check? Make one call, that's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports.
All right, you guys are hot.
With Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Hey, everybody, we say good afternoon on a glorious Monday in the Valley of the Sun, and we are sequestered nicely here at Casino, Arizona in the CAZ Sports Bar and Sports Book, and that means it is Monday night tailgate as well. We'll give you all the information throughout the show today, how you can win over $2,500 just for showing up to watch football. Manuch is here. Roc is on his way. How was your weekend, brother?
Don't discard Jax. Jax is here too.
Well,
why you do that, Jimmy?
I wasn't going. I was.
Come on, man.
I was going to wait before.
No, you weren't.
Because Jax does the betting show on Saturday.
Mm-hmm.
Yet I happened to look at the fan pick'em, and Jax is last in the fan pick'em.
You hear him moonwalking over there, Jax. Yeah, he's got his Michael Jackson shoes on. He got the belt buckle, got the whole nine. You got a little Jerry curl going over there too, Jimmy.
I'm looking good.
Got to give the boy a little bit of love, but yeah,
I did.
It was a great weekend. Hey, the Suns mixing a few wins. By the way, DeAndre Ayton.
Yes,
is that the same?
I know.
BA,
I knew you were going to say that.
That has come alive.
What did we talk about?
These last, what we've been waiting to see. And then the Cardinals, we'll get into that whole big old melted chocolate mess it was. And then, hey, good news for a lot of fans coming out of Sun Devil Land yesterday with the hiring of one Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah, there you go. All right, Jax has got a mic on now. He's here to defend him.
Yeah, absolutely. Jax, you heard he dissed you and oh, I was going to. You hear that moonwalk?
Yeah,
I was going to. I was like, yeah, whatever. He just.
I got news for you. I
forgot
can still moonwalk too.
Rookie season not going so hot.
You're the best.
That's all I'm going to say.
You're the best, Jax.
I got to tell you what, Jax, but you're pulling up there in the fan pick'em. Crazy weekend, National Football League.
It was.
Go figure.
Yeah, it was.
I mean, a parody at its finest. I mean, in the
that's why we love it so much.
I mean, then you have defeat, snatching the draws of victory for the Arizona Cardinals.
Yeah,
I mean, what a world of wacky world is there. What does Jimmy always say? What in the wild world of sports
is going on
in
here?
National Football?
All right, let's go.
Time for the top local and national stories of the hour. Powered by the Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona. Bet big on your favorite teams and players in an environment that's as exciting as the game you're watching. There's no better place in the Valley to get in on the action. The Sportsbook at CAZ Sports Bar. Now, guys, what's your top story this hour?
Well, it's pretty obvious after what took place yesterday at State Farm Stadium. Jax was there. We'll get his insights on how sitting with a bunch of Charger fans played out for him. But I will now go to the quarterback whisperer, the one, the only Dan Manucci.
Yes.
Manuch, and we'll do the whole game here in a little bit.
Sure.
But I just want to concentrate right off the top on the 2-point conversion by the Chargers. Manuch, that was one of the best, well-designed plays I think I have seen in some time.
And it seems as though it took them forever to line up. They were trying to figure out, did he hit the pylon, did he not?
Yes.
They review it. They do. It seemed like they had like 5 minutes. And it's interesting because the LA Chargers, there's the first one.
Won't be the last.
They came out, no kidding. They came out lined up.
Yeah.
And so there was another timeout, so they came back and lined up. Yeah, Jimmy, I'm going to tell you what, that was a very well-designed play. You have the running back going motion to the right, and you basically you look at this receiving core, and you got Allen, who's on the outside, and then you have Everett, who's so you had Everett, Allen inside, Everett just outside in the slot.
Yes.
So Allen goes in the inside like a quick slant. Everett goes 3 yards, fakes as if he's going out, comes back to the inside. And Isaiah Simmons right there had his jock in his hand. He's wide ass open. I could have completed that bad boy.
You could have.
He puts it right on the money, and you're going, wow, they're going to go for it. So the Cardinals, here they are. They line up. Yeah, very well designed, outsmarted. I really felt that this Cardinals defense, with the last couple of drives that the Chargers had, got out coached. And I really think Vance Joseph, so many guys, out of position,
yes,
coverages, You had Avon Collins running around like a chick with his head cut off, going right and then going back to the left side. Totally outcoached. They still go down, and nothing more than a sprint out on the touchdown pass that time to Eckler.
Mm-hmm.
Where's the coverage on that?
Yeah.
Guy got caught up inside on that one too. So well-designed play. I was surprised they're going for 2, but hey, why not? You're on the road.
Go for the win.
Go for the win. You're getting gashed with the running of Connor.
Yep.
And you're going down the field. So well-designed. Get it. Still 16 seconds to go, or 15.
Yeah.
Horrific couple of plays that the Cardinals had trying to come out of there. At least get you down within field goal range. Take a couple shots down the field. You only had one timeout left. Catch it, get up, spike it, maybe one more, or at least get within range of 45, 50 yards.
Give your kicker a chance.
Well, not even that. If you give your kicker a chance to throw the ball in the end zone.
Okay, you're going to
Hail Mary thing.
Okay.
Yeah, but hey, again, I'll never forget this, guys. Good teams always find a way to win.
Correct.
Bad teams always find a way to lose, and that's what we saw in the Arizona Cardinals yesterday.
Jax, you were in the building yesterday, and unfortunately for you, you were sitting with a bunch of Charger fans.
Powder blue.
Yeah, how did that go?
Well, they were quiet most of the game. Obviously, the third and fourth quarter, and I even told my dad, I was like, wow, this Cardinals offense is starting to click. And then after that, I said that 11 plays and 4 drives.
Yeah. That's
terrible. That's awful. You need 1 first down, and you win that ball game, Cliff Kingsbury.
Well, think about that, guys. 11 plays. You need 1 first down.
One first down, and you win the ball game.
Those drives went a minute 37, a minute 25, and then 37 seconds. So you think about that. Okay, so you give, Justin Herbert, you give him 45, 50 seconds, decent field position. Oh, yeah. By the way, how about a nice punt return and then a 5-yard penalty on top of that because the guy that tackled him went out of bounds.
Yeah.
The rookie, you got to come back in and establish yourself. You can't go down the sideline, wave at the fans, and then come back in and expect to make the tackle. So they started the ball at the 38-yard line. I went, this is not going to be good.
Yep.
And Eckler was due. Allen was due. Everett was due. And I thought about every once in a while a blind squirrel finds a nut, and sometimes it comes back and it evens itself out. I thought of the Las Vegas game, how the scoop and score by Byron Murphy Jr.
Yes.
You basically, the football gods gave that one to you. And in this game, the football gods said, let me even that out. We're going to take one away from you.
Yep.
Just funny how it all evens out. And that's why the National Football League, you just never know. You've got to finish the game when you have the ball.
75% of the games that have been played, this is an amazing stat, 75% of the games that have been played this season in the NFL resulted in teams that lost by 1 score or less. 1 score or 75% of those games. That's why it is so balanced in the National Football League.
It is, Jimmy, and you got to remember these guys with all the free agents moving around and guys coming here and guys coming there, long-range contracts. You're going to see that parity or the evening out. Now, the other play where the Cardinals could have had a chance to go out and score in the second quarter, fourth and about 3 inches, my thumb.
Looked like it.
Fourth and third and 1, you have a chance to sneak it. You get stopped short. So the Cardinals are going to go for it. James Conner's having a hell of a game. Fourth and about, I'm going to say 4 inches, if that. And I just turn around, hand the ball, or quarterback sneak it, or hand it off to James Conner, get the first down, move on. No. Cliff Kingsbury wants to go out of shotgun.
Right.
Did I say fourth and 3 inches?
Yes, you did.
Or was it 4?
You can say it again.
Yeah, and decides to do a play-action fake and throw a fade route off to the side, which was discombobulated from the jump, and 2 receivers are there. Now, mind you, you're in your own territory. You're on 34-yard line, and Kyler throws the ball anyway. Instead of throwing it, making it catchable, he throws it inside, and they intercept it. And they get the ball on the Cardinals' 44-yard line. Cliff, where you at with that? I don't get it.
Come on, bruh.
And even absolutely, that's a broad times 10. Even after the game, he said he still would have done with it. If I'm the owner and I hear a coach say, I've still done the same thing, you get a chance to take complete control of the game and go down and score at least 3 points, pretty much dominate the game for a team that's really struggling on offense, that being the Chargers, I'm going to say, Cliff, just leave the mic. leave your key card on the front desk. Security, escort his butt out of the door. That's ridiculous to hear that versus, you know what, I think I might outcoach myself there. We get a first round. You control the game, set, match in the first half.
I'm with you.
When's the last time the Cardinals had complete control of a game in the first half? Well, let me see. Eric Coryell, circa 1975.
Yeah.
When they were in
2
St.
minutes.
Louis. You see what I'm saying, guys?
I understand.
You can't afford, to your point, Jimmy, about how close it is,
Yes.
to make those kind of stupid,
No,
dumb
that is
calls.
correct. I agree.
The guy's got 5 yards per carry, that being James Conner.
Mm-hmm.
And you got, was it 3 inches?
3 inches.
Or 4?
I'll give you 3 inches.
Unbelievable.
And the Cardinals for this season are 1-5 at home.
Unbelievable.
1-5 at home. That just doesn't happen in the NFL unless you're a terrible team like Houston, somebody like that.
They had stats-a-thon in that game yesterday. The one that got me is that the Cardinals have lost 11 of 17 games when Kyler Murray starts and finishes a game.
Wow.
They've lost 11 out of the last 17 games when he starts and finishes the game. And I went, wow. And then look at last year. They were basically 10-2.
Yeah.
What they've done since then as far as the losses, and especially at home, as you mentioned, Jimmy.
Mm-hmm.
But that just doesn't bode well that your starter, your franchise quarterback cannot lead you to the promised land, especially in games where you should have won.
Which disappointed me because I thought Kyler played his probably best game he's played so far.
I would agree.
Besides a couple throws to Hollywood, some deep shots that he missed.
That was the most manageable quarterbacking game I've seen Kyler Murray have, at least this year.
I agree.
There's a couple games last year we saw that. But he ran well, got out of bounds. He had some good throws, a couple of advice throws. He threw that jump ball in that fourth. Was it 3 inches or 4 inches?
It was 3 inches, Manuch.
That was Cardinals' own territory.
Yeah, like 2 inches. Yeah.
Yeah.
I saw a stat this morning that this season the Cardinals' offense has only gone above 400 yards once.
Yes.
And their first rookie year with Kyler and Cliff, they did it 5 times through 12
Yes, they did.
They got more weapons. Why is that?
Because it's called adjustments, and defenses are catching on.
They figured them out.
To the tendencies of Cliff Kingsbury's play calling and what they're doing and how they're doing. And again, you only got 1 sack, but it was probably the worst sack of the day by Kyler Murray. Hell, you sacked Herbert, 5 times?
Yeah.
4 or 5 times. And again, this Cardinals team blows another opportunity to win. Or did the Chargers go out and win it?
It's our 22nd year hosting Monday Night Football at Casino, Arizona. We love it here. We have so much fun. By the way, all you got to do is just show up as we have our progressive jackpot on kickoffs. The jackpot is now over $2,600. $2,600. You can win it just for walking in the building here at Casino, Arizona, and in the CAZ Sportsbook and Sports Bar. We'll see you tonight. It's going to be a lot of fun, and big dough is available for you to win. All right, it is our React Monday, and we have a lot to get into. Arizona State hires their next head football coach. The Suns also in action tonight against the Sacramento Kings. And, of course, what took place yesterday. Should ownership make a move and find a new head coach? It is the Monday React. We will take your telephone calls in our next segment. Here's the number, 602-260-9191. 602-260-9191. Coming up in this segment, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
More sports, more Jody. The Drive with Jody Ayler. Now in morning 6 to 10 on Fox Sports 910.
This is literally home. Home. So I say that because this place is special. The state is special. The people in this room are special. I got guys in my wedding right there. Pretty emotional, right? It's just who I am. The one thing you're going to get from me, okay? I am who I am. I am who I am. I'm going to be the same person every single day I show up to work. I'm going to be fired up to be here, fired up to be a Sun Devil. And this place, what this place needs to be successful, it's already been successful. We've seen it. The leadership from top to bottom is in line. That's why I'm here right now. The leadership from top to bottom is in line. We need this entire valley to come together. You want to win at the highest level. You want to maximize this place. We need everybody in this room, positive things. We need everybody in this room to get involved. If you don't know how to get involved, how do you get involved? This is one of the biggest metropolitan areas in the country. It's growing at a rapid rate. We need the valley behind us.
Guys are hot. 5 seconds.
We need the state behind us. We need butts in seats. We need everything that this valley has all in.
Dilly. I'm telling you right now, that was about one of people always say, well, does the coach win the press conference? Yeah, I think Dillingham won the press conference. Now, can he win on the field?
Well, and I think what you're hearing, folks, is a young guy, 32 years old, very emotional, very bright, up-and-coming head coach now.
Yeah.
He was one of those offensive coordinators at a very young age, and you think of his experience, when you think of the experience he's had at looking at all things
Oregon,
the latest one, Florida State, Auburn, all that kind of thing. He's got a wealth of knowledge. And on top of that, he's bringing back Sean Iguanu as a position coach. We don't know what position that is. He'll come back on the staff. Charlie Ragle, folks, if you haven't heard, has resigned as Idaho State head coach and is now going to be the special teams, tight ends, and assistant head coach for your Arizona State Sun Devils. Vince Amy, former Sun Devil, was coaching down at U of A, is now also going to be on the defensive line staff. More to come. We'll find out more and more as the staff is put together. But I really believe, Jimmy, I think you need a young, enthusiastic coach that can be on the road, recruiting, and then some more recruiting. Because when you watch this ASU team, especially on the defensive side against U of A, aside from the 5 turnovers, you look at defense, they need dudes on that side of the ball.
Agreed.
You need linemen, defensive linemen. You need offensive linemen. You need a number one, I feel, go recruit the best athletes in the state of Arizona, expand that out to Texas, to Southern California, going north, going to the Midwest. You got to have your guys go out and win. You're going to have to go out and win that living room, if you will. Now, all that being said, there's still a lot of money involved, is there not?
There is.
As far as the NIL is concerned,
right?
That's got to be beefed up by this ASU program.
Transfer portal.
You transfer portal, which started today.
Yes.
And we saw as of about an hour ago, McNamara, the quarterback at Michigan, has entered into the transfer portal.
He has.
So you have got to batten down, and you cannot tell me that this department does not have the money to go ahead and at least pay those players on this ASU football team like they did at Texas Tech. And you can't tell me Texas Tech's got more money than Arizona State University, where they paid their players $25,000 a piece if you started and finished the season.
Correct.
In good sitting with the program, with your grades and everything, you're going to get $25,000.
There you go.
You mean to tell me ASU can't do that minimally with their guys coming on, plus other going out and finding major sponsors for your top dudes to keep them there at Arizona State University? So the priorities, Jimmy, I feel aren't even on the field priorities. There are a lot of off the field issues, recruiting, NIL, making sure you get the right staff, making sure you get the right individuals to go ahead and complete that. And I hope that Michael Crow understands what it's going to take to build the foundation and the base for this ASU football program, because what happened down at Tucson with the 5 turnovers and losing that game at Tucson was, I'm not going to say embarrassing, but it kind of got to the rock bottom place of where this team needs to go moving forward.
Manuch, you had two mediocre teams playing, both of them with losing records. Both of them had been blown out in certain situations, and that's why I thought it made for a highly entertaining game, because they were on the same level with each other.
Well, highly entertaining, yes, because the worst of who's the worst of the worst that wins.
There you go.
Okay, so you got one team throws for has 576 yards of total offense, the other 476. What we're watching for is nothing but pride. And quite frankly, ASU still had their chances.
They did, yeah,
to win that game. But U of A deservedly getting the turnovers, making the scores, wins that game. Hey, you won 5 years in a row. Had a chance to win 6. It's right out there.
Yep.
But beyond that, Jimmy, this program's not even on the second tier of college football.
Okay.
I don't know if they're on the third tier of college football. Dillingham has got to make this program. Let me start here.
Okay.
Michael Crow. Are you listening, Michael? Michael Crow, along with Ray Anderson, have got to make this football program relevant once again. And I mean relevant. They have got to go ahead and put the money, time, effort, energy into this football program to get this back on track, to get them within the top, I'll say top 50, and then you work it in the top 25, and then you work it in from there. Those are some of the things I think when I look at what Kenny Dillingham is going to have to do, and this program is going to have to do in reference to making them relevant again. You look at this record, 3-8, or excuse me, 3-9.
Yes.
Not going to bode very well for a lot of the Sun Devil faithful that are still out there in the Sun Devil alumni. And as far as getting butts in seats, those are a lot of things you're going to have to do.
And that brings us to our State 48 Roofing. It's your call question of the day. And
3.
for a free quote repair installation, head to state48roofing.com. Follow them on social media by searching hashtag sexy roof status. So here's the question. Did ASU make the right choice in hiring Kenny Dillingham, Dilly, as its new head football coach? 2 options. 1, yes, need his energy. 2, no, needed experience. Just go to Roc and Manuch on Twitter and cast your vote, and we will revisit that as the show continues.
How long will he be coaching? That should be our question next week or tomorrow. How long will Dilly be the head coach at Arizona State?
You don't think he's a lifer for this, Rock? You don't think he's going to be a lifer?
He is going to turn this thing around very quickly.
Like Lincoln Riley did at USC.
And he is gone, and he's going to get paid. And I'm okay with that. I love the fact he's brought in some good assistants.
Yep.
We all love Charlie Regal, but I think the fact that he is a guy that spent some time at Florida State.
Right. At Oregon.
Yep. These big-time schools where they have boosters.
Sure.
We can make a case that Arizona State does not have boosters.
Well, they got to go find the money somewhere, Rock, if they're going to compete. If they're going to take
That's what I'm saying.
They got to go find the money.
Every school, every AD wants to find the money. But if the money's not there,
they've got the money.
No, they don't, because if they did, we would not be in this situation as Sun Devil fans.
They're the largest university in the United States.
And they have been for a long time.
Yeah.
So why haven't they found the money yet?
Because I don't think they wanted to incorporate the money over to the football program. Now I think they're going to have to. No, Rock.
The Frank Kush days, people, all they do is the Sun Devil alum talk about the Frank Kush days, how great they were, and how they want to bring this program back to that.
You can't tell me 75,000 students that are at ASU, the fees and all that stuff that they've got, fees, tuition, books, all that, but they can't offer more money over to this program.
I don't disagree with that, but they haven't. What makes different today than yesterday or 5 years ago, 10 years ago, 20 years ago? I've been here 30.
I would hope that this time around, I would only hope, Rock, that the Knapp Lawrences, who are big contributors of this football program, and some of the others out there.
There's one.
That would go to Michael Crow, not Ray Anderson, and say, look, Michael, if you want to get this program relevant again, you want to make Arizona State with all this, put your money where your mouth is, Michael Crow, and let's incorporate money for more NIL, for every player to get $25,000 a year minimum, get the NIL. Now all of a sudden you're on par when you have these coaches go into a living room and go, hey, we love your son at wide receiver. That's well and good, but Texas Tech's guaranteeing him $25,000. How much can you guarantee him? That's not even NIL. That's just $25,000.
But there was that here, Manuch. There was the $1 million.
That's not for every player there.
Okay,
that was
it's
an
pretty
NIL.
darn close. But if you look at the NIL, the top players are making the big bucks above and beyond everyone else on that roster.
Get it? I understand. So that's where you got. If you're going to compete with getting 4- and 5-star guys, then you got to go NIL plus whatever other money.
Absolutely,
you have to, and that's on Michael Crow. Randers got to go
on the boosters, and there's only one nap.
What I'm trying to say, boosters.
Yeah, what are you saying?
I'm saying
this is no different. You and I, Manuch, without no disrespect, Jimmy. You and I, Manuch, have been doing the show for 18 years,
right.
And we've had 3 or 4 coaching changes in that 3 or 4 years. And the show, as they hire somebody, is the same today as it was years before. Was boosters.
Okay.
Where's the money? Where's the money? And this team, and this alumni group wants to win, but they need to put their money where their mouth is, and that has not happened.
Boosters aside, take them out. Michael Crow needs to go into his coffers at ASU and kick that money in.
Don't you think they've done some of that when they've redone the stadium? They redid the weight room. That's the stuff that's what you're talking about, right?
That's the intangible. That's outside. So if you want to make a good product on the field, this is what you're going to have to do.
You need a big time coach.
You got a coach.
Okay, but you need a big time coach.
Okay, you don't need a big time coach to do this. You need the money to go get Rock. It's recruit. If I'm going to go compete and get that 5-star kid who's already guaranteed.
If Nick Saban came to ASU today, would this team be a team that's going to go for a championship?
He's got to go
because he brings them in because he's a big time coach.
And you know what?
Big time coaches recruit.
I get it, Rock, but I'm just saying that if you're going to,
I love the hire, Manuch.
I'm saying, Rock,
I'm just saying he's not going to be here that long.
Okay, if you're going to get Kenny Dillingham, you got to go support him by putting that money out there so he can go get those players.
Like they said with Herm, with Cutter, with Dennis Erickson. I could go on and on.
Yeah, but now boosters, forget the
Todd
boosters.
Graham.
Forget that you got to, hey, Michael Crow.
We got to go to break.
You got to get the money into this ASU program, period. Yeah, you throw the break.
Let's talk to Rudy Carpenter next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B.
former Sun Devil quarterback, who, by the way, went 3-1.
Hey, guys.
Yeah.
Team in
To the
We have
team,
to call you back.
into the strength of the one.
on Fox
Yes.
910 on FM at 99.9 HD2.
Guys are hot.
We'll catch up with Rudy Carpenter here in just a moment. We just dropped him on his cell phone. We'll get his thoughts on Arizona State's new head football coach here on a React Monday out here at Casino, Arizona, 101 in McKelps for Showroom Football, which used to be called Showroom Football, but now we're in the CAZ Sports Bar for tonight as we've got the props going. We also have the kickoff challenge, which is over $2,600, and squares. So come on out and join us for tonight's Monday night game. We also got a lot of Cardinal football to get into a little bit later as well. But big topic today, of course, is the Cardinals losing, but more importantly, is what's going on at Arizona State. And then finally getting their head coach and some other hires. I thought Matt Rule at Nebraska was a great hire.
Yep.
That was outstanding. A few others,
How
Wisconsin.
about Fickle at Wisconsin?
Love Luke.
Great
Yeah,
move.
love that hire.
Yep.
He's going to kill it there.
He is.
Rudy Carpenter joins us down the right to a guest sign here on Fox Sports 910. So, Rudy, what do you think about Dilly Dilly and and Kenny Dillingham?
Yeah, I think it's an interesting hire for a lot of reasons. I mean, I think when you talk to a lot of the ASU alum and people in the Valley, and especially former players, one thing that most people complain about is that we just have never had a coaching staff that is really connected to the Valley. And so Kenny, he's born and raised here. His whole family's ASU graduates. ASU is his dream job. He's going to hire a whole bunch of people with ASU connections or Arizona connections. I would imagine guys like Charlie Regal is going to be the special teams coordinator. I wouldn't be surprised if a Michael Bercovici or a Aaron Flugrad or even a Vince Amy, some of these guys who have been in and around Kenny, get hired, and him keeping Sean Aguano. Again, I just think that, this is something that Kenny really believes in. And to be honest, I think he's right when he talks about the only way this place being successful is if you can create an atmosphere similar to what all of those big universities in the SEC get, which is sold out stadiums every single week, and it creates an environment for players that's too hard to pass up. And if ASU ever wants to be that quality of a program, they're going to have to create that type of atmosphere. You can do it because we have a big enough city. And I think that's obviously what Kenny is going to try and do.
I agree with all that, Rudy. Discussion we just had prior to you coming on is this alumni base and the boosters and the NIL and having the money to lure some of these 4 or 5-star recruits, which we have not seen over the years. What will it take immediately for the boosters to kind of, get engaged in this program again?
Yeah, and I think that's one of the issues. I mean, look, out of full disclosure, Dan, I work with a lot of guys. I got a lot of quarterbacks. I got a lot of wide receivers right now guys who are deciding whether or not they enter the NFL draft or they enter the transfer portal. And right now, the very first question all of those guys ask me is, hey, if I enter the transfer portal, how much money is this school willing to give me? I have an offensive lineman whose coaching staff has already offered him $100,000 plus pay for his Lloyd's of London insurance policy if he comes back to school next year. This is a completely different environment than what we're used to. And so if ASU wants to have a chance to get in on these players, they need a quarterback. That's just the fact of the matter. I'm not saying that he should be the guy, but for instance, Cade McNamara just now entered the transfer portal out of the University of Michigan. I imagine there's going to be a lot of schools who will want him and will have an NIL package waiting for him. So to answer your question, what ASU needs to do is follow the lead of Nap Lawrence, who at Kenny's press conference, stood up and donated $1 million to the ASU collective group. And I think what we need is, the rest of the people in the Valley, the rest of the the people who donate money to continue to do so. I know me and my wife donate money, and it's gonna take a big effort to fill those NIL coffers to go ahead and be able to put up the money to get these players.
And that's pretty much the bottom line. What I had to say in reference to that is too, Rudy, is that you've got to go put the money out there if you're going to compete. As Roc alluded to, that 4- and 5-star guy. That all being said, I remember when Bill Snyder took over a downtrodden K-State program, the first guys he came to were us alumni for the first 3 years on a diligent basis. Started the Golden Cat Club, and our $100, $200 a year, whatever, really was a boost for him to allow him, in those days at least, to go get that 3-, 4-, and 5-star guy and build that program. Will your alumni finally step up, or boosters, to finally get on par and go get that kid out of that living room?
Well, I don't know. I hope so. I know there's going to be a lot of mixed emotions about whether or not Kenny Dillingham is ready to be a head coach, and whether or not, he's ever had to face adversity or deal with any big time problems. And I'm sure, like you, Dan, I've known Kenny Dillingham personally for a long time. And look, he's going to have all of those questions. But if ASU wants to win, you're going to have a good coach. And I think Kenny is capable of doing that. But if you want to win, it starts at the very, very top with making the commitment to the athletic department. And I think that starts with, obviously, Dr. Crow. And I think that's where a lot of people in the ASU alumni group, I think that's kind of what they believe, which is the administration, the top brass at the school, all the way down into the administration and the athletic department, just hasn't made the all-in commitment on athletics that it's going to take. We watched what making an all-in commitment looks like from USC. USC this last season made an all-in commitment when they went and paid Lincoln Riley what they paid him, and then what they put in their NIL coffers to go ahead and get these great players to come in there and play with them, right? I mean, this is a totally different football team. They have the front runner for the Heisman Trophy right now. So to me, USC has the blueprint for what this is going to look like. And when you really, really look at it, and when you're really, really honest, it comes down to the money. So if we want to compete, it doesn't really matter. In my view, you're going to find a lot of good head coaches who are capable. It's going to come down to how attractive is it to come play at Arizona State? And we all know a large part of the attraction is, how much money are you willing to give me?
3.
Rudy, let me follow up with what you just referenced about USC. And you talked about Lincoln Riley, an established coach, even at a young age, who went to the college football playoffs with Oklahoma, made that jump. And so from his standpoint, it was relatively easy to, I guess, circumvent everything that was at USC and change the whole culture. Dillingham is not Lincoln Riley. He's a young, enthusiastic guy who's been around the block a couple of times at some major programs, but never as a head coach. Is he going to have enough cachet to try to change that culture, similar, because you referenced USC?
Well, we're going to find out. And look, I mean, I'm realistic. I understand that ASU is not USC. That's a blue blood, college football, very, very, very deep pockets, and I get that. Kenny's going to have an uphill challenge when it comes to that. And yes, people are going to question, his experience and all of those things, especially recruits. I get it. But at the end of the day, too, I think what's going to make a really big difference is what this coaching staff is going to look like, and who Kenny is going to hire. Again, he's going to hire guys who got to recruit. I imagine Charlie Regal, one of the better recruiters, is going to do a great job at ASU. He understands the landscape, won, I think, 3 straight state championships here at Chaparral High School as a coach. Great recruiter everywhere he's been. I imagine Charlie's going to do a great job. And same with all the other guys that Kenny brings in. It's why he kept Sean Aguano. I wouldn't be shocked if he hired somebody like Jason Mons. I just don't know. We'll see, right?
Would he hire you?
The point being is, no, no. But again, I think that it's going to be interesting. Look, it's going to take a big commitment, I think, from the top people like Dr. Crow and everybody else, along with this alumni group, to put in a lot of money to go ahead and go purchase these kids is what it's going to come down to.
Rudy, we love it. We're going to have a lot to talk about over the next few months about Arizona State football. So thanks so much for some time today. Have a good week.
Yeah, no problem. Take care.
Rudy Carpenter, former Sun Devil quarterback. Didn't even get a chance to talk to him about ASU falling to the Wildcats, but that seems like that was months ago.
Yeah, it does.
Right?
Even though it was only a few days.
Yeah, so anyway, he's driven by All City Towing. All City Towing continues to hire. Go to allcitytowing.com. Currently, they have immediate full-time positions. If you're looking for some work around the holidays, All City Towing. You can go to their website, allcitytowing.com, and just search careers. That's allcitytowing.com. Speaking of Lincoln Riley, he shocked the world on this day 2 years ago. I'll tell you about that next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B from Casino, Arizona.
Take you back.
If you travel to the past, that past becomes your future, and your former present becomes the past.
A quick reflection on some of the more memorable moments in sports and pop culture. Time for your 72 Sold on This Day report. Get our price.
You guys are hot.
72sold.com.
Speaking of Lincoln Riley, we're just talking about him and what he did from Oklahoma to USC on this day. He shocked the college football world. When he left the Sooners and became the head coach at USC. That was a fun topic that day when that hit last year. He signed a deal worth $110 million, not to mention the private jets and the homes and all that other stuff that came with it. Still waiting to see what Dilly Dilly's deal is, but I'm anxious to see that.
Not quite 110 million.
I don't think so.
Right?
Yeah. No. Also on this day back in 81, Paul Bear Bryant of Alabama became the winningest coach in college football history as the Rolling Tide beat the Auburn Tigers 28-17 in the Iron Bowl. It was his 315th career victory, surpassing Amos
Alonzo Stagg.
Who the hell is that?
Amos Alonzo Stagg.
Yeah,
He was
the Stag
He
Bowl.
was a coach for many years
At Alabama?
No. He
Where?
was.
It's funny how you two guys both know.
Well, we know. I forget what.
I know. Come on, guys. You're disappointing me.
No, he's a small college coach who won like 20,000 football games.
Is it in Ohio? Small school in Ohio?
Yeah. He's a small college coach who won all those games, and they used to have the Amos Alonzo Stag Bowl. It used to be played in Sacramento.
Interesting. So he was a California coach.
Yeah.
Okay.
Well, no, he coached everywhere.
Okay.
Yeah.
On this day, 28 years ago, 1994, Jeffrey Dahmer was clubbed to death.
Thank God.
By a fellow inmate while he was cleaning the prison toilets.
Yeah.
How about that?
Should've
And then
stuffed
27
him in
years
the
ago,
toilet.
got to give this guy a lot of credit for this, as President Clinton in 95 signed a $6 billion road bill that ended the federal 55-mile-an-hour speed limit.
Thank you,
God.
Bill. Thank
I
you,
remember
Bill.
something about you Democrats, man. You like to speak. 'Cause I remember
Damn
back
straight.
in the 80s, or maybe it was the 70s, when Jimmy Carter did the same thing in New Jersey with the Atlantic City Turnpike, where he
Yes.
took it from 55 to 65, and that was a big deal just on that toll booth.
Yeah.
'Cause that was a toll road, so you could do it on that.
And
So anyway,
if you're pulling a small trailer, you had to go 45. So I used to pull that little small U-Haul behind my car going from Manhattan, Kansas to Buffalo. I'd put all my stuff in there. You couldn't go faster than 45. Hell, it took me forever to get to Buffalo. I guess I'll see you guys in about a week, but they would monitor you. If you're going 50, 55, that was the limit was 55, but you could only go 45.
so speaking of Manhattan, Kansas.
Yes.
Uh-oh.
How about those Wildcats?
Yeah.
Yeah, it's about time. You know, it's so interesting. I was home all week, as you guys know, dealing with my
Right.
situation. And literally, I watched more football in my life, over the
It was
weekend.
on.
And I got stuck because for the first time ever,
Yes.
Over the Air had Kansas State on in prime
Yes.
time.
It did.
It's never been on over the air television before.
Ever.
And Jax, you know what over the air television is? Okay, just checking. So when I was a kid, I had 3, 6, 12, and like 14 or something in the Philadelphia area. So over the air, no cable, no satellite, nothing like that.
None of
And I get stuck watching this game between Kansas and Kansas State, which, because it was on and there wasn't really much else on at the time, I'm jumping back and forth. I was proud of your Cats.
Yes.
I just would love for them to kind of win the next game.
Oh, would I love it? I'd love to.
Because I believe there's going to be there's going to be an upset or two next weekend. And it's going to really mess everything
Purdue
up.
is not going to beat Michigan.
All right, but you never know.
Jimmy,
You say it.
I know
You say it every week.
I
That's
do.
why they play the game.
That's why they play the game.
But
That
what
is
if?
correct. Yes, I got you.
Did my
I know.
Bucks still have a shot?
Yeah, I know. I want TCU to win because I want them in, and I want USC to win because I
Thanks
want
a lot,
them
Jimmy.
in.
Yeah, I feel that.
So
I
if
know
that's the case,
It's
if
for the
that's
Wildcat
the
love,
case,
I
Jimmy.
don't want
I will make this
Alabama.
I'll make
I don't
this-
want LSU.
I'll make this prediction
Yes.
that the Fiesta Bowl, which has the semi, would have TCU, USC,
Yes.
because the Sugar, or excuse me, it's the Sugar, right? Sugar's in Atlanta.
No,
It's
New Orleans.
it's
New
the,
Orleans.
but the other games, what's it called? It's a peach.
No, not the peach.
But anyway, the game's in
Anyway,
Atlanta.
yes,
Okay,
yes.
whatever they're calling it.
Yeah.
So the other semi would definitely
Sugar.
be Georgia and
Michigan.
yes. So it is Sugar. I was right.
Yeah.
Sugar's in New Orleans.
I thought the game's in Atlanta. Ben, will you look that up? Will somebody do it? I don't have my computer today, so please.
I will say
Can't
this.
do it all.
You're rocking on the point of USC,
That would mix
Utah.
stuff up.
Does USC, if they beat Utah, they have to win if they have any shot of making in that Final
That
Four.
is correct.
Got to beat them
TCU's
twice.
got to win. Exactly. So that's the other thing, too. And Purdue, Michigan. Purdue's not bad, Jimmy. Not bad. Now, Michigan looks pretty damn good, especially when you scored 21 points on Ohio State in the fourth quarter. And then after that, I'm
So
like
bad.
you. LSU, yeah, they're in the championship game in the SEC.
Peach Bowl is in Georgia.
Peach. Damn it.
So from that standpoint, that's the one thing you look at to see, will everybody Georgia win that one? I doubt that they get beat whatsoever. But And you never know.
I think, but
see it
how
jump,
great would it be,
scramble.
though?
See it scramble.
Totally.
I love chaos. I think it's the best thing that could happen to college football, which is why I want USC and TCU to both win, so they will eliminate Ohio State. Sorry, Rock. I know
And
that's your
Alabama.
school. And Alabama,
Yeah.
correct.
No, I understand because people
Yes.
don't like seeing those two schools. I get it.
Yes. And then
I
you
just
have
think there's a
Saban.
lot of people, at least from talking to a lot of folks yesterday at the establishment, everybody's on TCU.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah, they are.
Because they're not used to seeing them. And they score a lot, but they also got a pretty good defense.
And that quarterback is pretty damn good as well, too.
Dugan.
And my only thing I can say is my Cats are up 28-10, only get beat 38-28. So we got rolled in that second
They
half.
can put points on the board, TCU can. But here's what I'm really concerned about, because Caleb Williams at the USC QB is obviously the Heisman Trophy winner. I'm afraid that not enough of those bimbos that watch back east that they will even know who the Caleb Williams
they know.
is.
Oh, they do now.
No,
Totally
they don't.
now, Jimmy.
They,
Jimmy, this is Stanford, dude.
I know they didn't
know you're
vote
so
for
hung up
Christian
on this.
McCaffrey. Yeah, they should.
You're so hung up on that.
I'm not hung up
yes,
on
you
it.
are.
No,
you have been since the day you and I've been doing radio.
I lived in.
I know.
I lived back
That's
there.
why you're hung up on it. USC is different. USC is the Pac-12.
Okay.
People know USC.
Okay.
Stanford,
They
the
were
Cardinal.
good.
Most people call them the Cardinals. They don't even know it's the Cardinal.
You're right.
So I really think that I understand where you're coming from on that. But there's USC, then there's the Pac-12.
I agree. I
Okay.
agree.
All right. You sold me on it.
Stanford's not playing Notre Dame every year.
No, they're
not playing this really tough out of conference schedule.
Right.
Stanford, I get it, dude. McCaffrey, I lived out here too.
I know you did.
But
Yeah.
it's not USC.
The shining star has been on USC no
Because
matter
we
what.
know damn well
Yeah.
how many Heisman Trophy winners have come out of USC.
A lot of them. A ton
Yep.
of them.
Yep.
I mean, God, from Matt Leinart to Reggie Bush, we can go on and on.
Oh,
OJ,
God,
the whole
everybody.
nine. I
Hey,
mean,
today's On This Day Report is brought to you by Jimmy Brinkston.
Yes, it is.
Powered every day by 72 Sold, America's leading home selling program. It's going to be back.
I'm still pissed.
Home sellers, you need 72 Sold more than ever. But they have a solution for today's home selling market. There's no better way to sell your home than 72 Sold. You're making a big mistake if you go the traditional route. Let 72 Sold show you the top market price for your home. Go to 72sold.com and get your price a higher price at 72sold.com. Hour number 2 from Casino Arizona is coming up. I hate to do it, but a montage of all those long touchdowns from Michigan over Ohio State and Craig Philly. That's all next. Roc and Manuch, Jimmy
Guys are hot.
Cardinals struggle at home. They lose another one on a late 2-point conversion to the Chargers. Kenny Dillingham is coming back to the state of Arizona as the next head football coach for the Sun Devils. Suns are in Sacramento tonight, and the Coyotes fall to Minnesota yesterday. Welcome in hour number 2, Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Casino, Arizona. That's our home on Monday and Monday night for Monday Night Football. Tonight, the Steelers and the Colts will go at it. Two really, really, really good teams going at it. Should be a barn burner tonight.
Absolutely, man.
Can't wait.
Sell it as best you can.
Yes. Come on out. We got a lot of cash to give away.
That you do.
That young QB for the Steelers taking on Matty Ice for the Colts.
Speaking of young quarterbacks, Manuch.
Kenny Pickett.
Yeah. I'm not going to lie.
Yeah.
I had both games on. I'm watching the Cards
Yes.
and the Chargers, and I look over to the right, and I got the Rams and the Chiefs. And I'm like, I see these mistakes by this quarterback, and all I can think of, just like I say when I'm playing golf and I yell, Randy, you son of a, my golf pro. I just felt these mistakes that this quarterback was making, and I'm thinking of their coach, because you got to blame the coach. When the player does well, the coach gets the accolades, but the same has to apply when
I taught him.
So you gotta get an emergency meeting with your QB.
Yeah, that being Bryce Perkins.
Is that who? I wasn't sure who it was.
For the LA Rams yesterday, and
I was so excited that you are. Coach Manucci's got a guy starting in the National Football League.
I was excited too,
rooting him on.
But I did not teach Bryce to throw into double coverage first and foremost.
Yes.
Not teach him that. Did not teach him to throw behind.
Did you teach him? Well, because you didn't. I mean, you
that
played
touchdown pass he had.
No,
I taught him that one.
Okay, but the bright lights, maybe. You never played in a game like that.
Well,
against defending, world champions of 2 years ago.
Playing against the New England Patriots was a pretty big game. Playing in that game.
Not preseason. This is a big game.
That was regular season.
Bright lights.
You know what? It just goes to show you.
Arrowhead.
Yeah. Very first 3 years later, very first game in Arrowhead, to your point. But yeah, Bryce, a lot to improve on. He was pretty excited about it. And
I'm only kidding. But I felt bad because
I did too.
The kid gets an opportunity, and unfortunately made some mistakes that are avoidable. I think. I'm not the quarterback whisperer like you,
right.
But I think if you were going to take the tape and go back, there's some things that you could have worked on with him and have that opportunity.
And not having
I think with the New York Jets with Zach Wilson, a guy who second pick overall, the kid gets benched.
Yep.
I mean, not just second string, third string. But before the game, he's working out with his quarterbacks coach. Sure. Trying to get the two-step, all this kind of stuff done, and it's a work in progress with quarterbacks.
It is, and it just goes to show you got to have tools around you. Cooper Kupp, makeshift offensive line. Basically, Bryce brought a knife to a gunfight when you took on the Chiefs.
That's correct.
To that point, there's a lot of things.
He'll learn from it.
Yeah, he will. He ran fairly well. There's some throws he like to have back. There's some reads he like to have back. But first time out of the shoot, I was just excited for him to be out there and trying to make some things happen. And who knows how long, Matthew Stafford will be out. They might just shut him down the rest of the year with his neck injury and the concussions. And whether Wolford comes back or not is yet to be seen. I know they picked up Case Cookus, also from NAU, was in the USFL, and so they got him. So right now, as far as I know, Bryce is it. But it's tough. And like Mike White, he had a pretty good group of guys around him for the Jets. He had a hell of a game.
Yeah.
He's played before a little bit.
Who it was Rashad White. The running back,
yes,
playing pretty well now in the National Football League. The former Sun Devil from last year. But let's talk about the Cardinals. They continue to struggle at home. They lost that late 2-point conversion. I was shocked, guys, that he even went for it.
I was too.
But I guess I'm like, you got a young coach. You're 5-5. You got nothing to lose. You're not in the playoffs.
On the road.
You win this game. Yeah, you're on the road. Go for it. But I'm sitting there. I'm like, what are you doing?
They showed him on the sidelines on TV before he made that play call. And he was standing there and he was talking to a couple of other assistant coaches. And then he just threw his hands up in the air and he went like this with two fingers up. We're going for two.
You love the aggressiveness.
When he scored, he didn't hesitate. He looked at everyone and just went two.
Yeah,
going
that's
for two.
it. Going for two.
And they trained for that, right? They They went through this.
Rock, the play that he called, Manuch and I opened with that play because it was so well designed and creative. And Everett, the
Gerald,
recipient of the pass, was wide open.
Too wide open. I mean, he just get
it
across the
was
middle, boom.
Boom. It was there.
And it's interesting because Jimmy and I were talking about this a little earlier, Rock, is that it took them like 5 minutes to get the play off. So they lined up. They said, okay, let's review it one more time. Did he hit the pylon or not on the touchdown by Engler?
Right.
He did. So then they call a timeout, and they're lining up a couple times like that. It was a mystery what they were going to do. So they come back out, and, Allen's on the inside just off the tackle's rear end as like
on the right
tight
side.
end.
Yep.
Everett's outside of him. Allen just goes inside like a quick slant. Everett pretty much makes an out move, and then comes back to the inside. Isaiah Simmons is just standing there like, oh, damn, he's wide open. And the timing was catch, 1,001, bang. And
bang, right?
But they still had 6 to 15 seconds left
to
make some kind of return, get a couple throws.
So Cardinals now have lost 6 of their last 8, second loss right there in a row. They're off for a week. But the question I have for you, Manuch, if we were going to critique or pretend we're having a press conference with Cliff Kingsbury, of course, all the talk about Peyton is the next head coach and all that BS. What can they do differently, though, is the key. Now you have 2 weeks to make some changes.
Well, I think.
Do you make any changes, or you just keep doing what you're doing and hope for the best?
Well, you're not going to make any changes to what you have now. You got to hope that maybe some guys can get healthy in the next 2 weeks. It can come back. Anybody, you got 4 of your offensive linemen on the IR. Can they come back? Can your other guys get healthy?
You don't have an offensive line coach.
You don't. You're exactly.
Yes,
that's the third coach, third assistant.
You got a
coach
tight end guy that's running the show,
and you got a former quarterback assistant, that being Berkovici, that's helping out with the tight end.
It's unbelievable. So this organization, Hard Knocks should be good this week.
Well, and to answer your question, Rock, you improve on. Okay, you're gonna have the Patriots coming into town in 2 weeks.
Yep.
They're one of the best defenses. You're not gonna out scheme or outsmart Bill Belichick. So what do you do best? Let's look at tape from Bill Belichick. How do we incorporate, now that we have pretty much all of our receivers except for Rondale Moore that are healthy, how do we incorporate that? You look at McBride, who dropped a couple passes there, unfortunately, that he's got to make.
That's been a common occurrence.
Yeah, he's dropped a couple. So changes, you're not looking for any change, you're looking for improvement for guys to understand what you're going to face. You're going to have 2 weeks, guys, to prepare for this Patriots defense. You should be able to come out and go toe-to-toe with them. Now, it's just the offensive side that Vance Joseph, last time I checked, even though the Patriots lost this last weekend, Mac Jones is starting to throw the football very effectively.
Yes,
so now you get your running game, you got Mac Jones. Changes, you can't afford to make any. But when Cliff Kingsbury pretty much says, hey, we have the best is in front of us moving forward, sometimes I go, well, I get that, Cliff. Continuity with your 2 receivers. And Robbie Anderson had a catch the other day. Where the hell's he been? So in reference to changes, no, they have to make improvement, because now all you're fighting for now is respect and trying to improve and going to next year with some semblance of continuity and maybe some momentum.
Here's the thing I'm going to drop on you. Manuch and Rock, I don't think Cliff Kingsbury is going to change. I think this is his offensive schemes, and we all know what Kyler Murray said about schemes. And
can we play that?
we have to edit it. And to be honest with you, I know that you're asking for something to take.
I have it edited.
I don't think that it's going to change. And here's Kyler Murray after yesterday's game.
No, it wasn't. That wasn't for Hop, actually. Schematically, we were kind of.
Yeah, what he's alluding to is that 4th and maybe 3 or 4 inches.
That's it.
On their side of the field. And then, Connor basically pounding the football 5 yards per. 3rd down and 1, you try quarterback sneak, you get stopped short. It's 4th and maybe 3 or 4 inches. Instead of
2 minutes
sneaking it or turn around giving it to James Conner for the first down, you go shotgun. And to your point, Jimmy, this sometimes Cliff Kingsbury's his own worst enemy.
I agree with that.
I agree too.
Yeah.
Play fake to James Conner and throw a fade route, which is the scheme was horrible. 2 receivers in the same location, and he kind of double clutched it, and he went, oh, hell, there's 2 guys. I guess I'll just throw this up. Well, he throws it up, it gets intercepted, and the interception's on your own 44-yard line. Mm-hmm. I'm like, Cliff, what the hell are you thinking? So to your point, Rock, sometimes Cliff Kingsbury gets in his own way.
Yes.
Just either hand it off, get the first down, we move on.
With this so-called offensive-minded coach, the last 4 years that everybody's anointed him, as this great coach when it comes to offensive-minded, back to back to back 3 and outs.
That was horrible. Talk about wrong time to get conservative.
I mean, come on.
You got James Conner, as I said,
who's having a career day.
Phenomenal game. They're owning the line of scrimmage, or you can't roll
with all these backup offensive linemen.
Yes.
Or you can't roll out Kyler Murray for a couple yards here and there. You go 11 plays without getting a first down.
Correct.
Come on, Cliff. As a matter of fact, I think that one play we just talked about, that's got to make tonight's ESPN's. Come on, man. Are you kidding me? You're calling that play in your own territory? What the hell are you thinking? Here's the other thing, too. In the presser afterwards, he said, I would do the same thing over again. But I'm Michael Bidwell. Well, not here. You're not going to do that here. Leave your key pass and all that there, because we're not going to get into that right now.
You know, Cardinals fans, it's time. It's time. Let's get it. This is when you do it. You're in a bye week. You make Vance Joseph the head coach, and then let the world know that there's a head coaching job in Arizona available with a possible franchise quarterback, and arguably one of the top receivers in the league.
Yes. Somebody that can develop him and develop him in the right way.
I'm tired of development, man. Let's go. It'll be his fifth year.
Somebody
let him do his thing.
Somebody that makes sense of the offense.
Yeah.
With this young man and with what you have, because this
not working.
This talent's not going to be there for the next 2 or 3 years.
All right. So my question is then, will Bidwell eat that contract then?
There's a buyout.
If there's ever a year
there's a buyout
for him to buy out somebody's contract, it's the year you're hosting a Super Bowl in your backyard in your own stadium.
I know you've referenced
He's got so much money coming to him for the Super Bowl being here.
Okay.
The amount of economical impact the city's going to have, everything that he has his hands on, this is a huge opportunity for him to make so much money, and he's going to make so much money.
Okay.
That's why it didn't matter if he won or lost this year. Mm-hmm. He's making money. He's a businessman. He's a smart businessman.
Guys, you know what this reminds me of? The movie Groundhog Day. We see the same thing over and over again with the same result. That's what it reminds me of.
Hey, number 3, Michigan rocked number 2, Ohio State, sadly. How about South Carolina stunning number 8, Clemson? More coming up on the college football's Week 13. Lots of upsets. We'll talk about them next. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Casino, Arizona.
Cornelius Johnson sprinting. Touchdown, Michigan. 75 yards. They said the kid couldn't throw the deep ball. McCarthy under pressure, back shoulder throw, caught. Cornelius Johnson breaking it, still on his feet. Cornelius Johnson sprinting. Touchdown, Michigan, 69 yards. Play action. J.J. McCarthy lobs it wide open. Caught at the 10, 5, touchdown, Colston Loveland. 45 yards. First year here at Ohio State. This is why he's here. They have to get a stop. No turnovers in this game so far. First and 10 of the 25. Here's Edwards with a lay. Donovan Edwards down the sideline. Gets past Ransom. Donovan Edwards. Touchdown, Michigan, the Don. Here's the run again. Donovan Edwards. Whoa! Can they catch him? No!
Guys are hot, 10 seconds.
It's again, 85 yards. The Don, 2 huge touchdowns, and the Wolverines go up 44-23.
That was just the same one that Ben just played over and over. There's only one. There was only one.
1, 2, 3, 4.
75, 85, 45,
Yep.
69, 75. Gus Johnson with the call, Fox Sports, as Michigan just dominates the second half.
I thought about you, Rock.
First time since 2000 in Michigan. Leaves Columbus with a win, and thanks to just some really awful secondary DB play.
All right, so here now, you go on Ohio State message boards. They want Ryan Day fired.
I know, I saw that.
Good.
Well, you saw the post game on Fox, and they're all cheering for Urban Meyer, who's doing the post game.
Yeah.
They bring him back. What the?
No.
Really?
Yeah, come on.
But it's the rivalry.
Well,
it's a big deal.
It's 2 years in a row he's lost to Michigan. You just don't lose 2 years in a row to Michigan teams.
Cooper. But yeah, it was bad. So we'll see though. Ohio State's still breathing a little bit with an opportunity, but I doubt it at this point. Secondary coach should have been fired, maybe, but
21 points in the fourth quarter. It's usually the other way around. So Ohio State imposing their will on the opponent. You look at this thing; it's 20-17 basically at halftime. Ohio State's winning.
Boilermakers, baby, they're my new favorite team.
Not going to happen. Won't even be close.
Championship. How about South Carolina? The Gamecocks. USC takes advantage of Clemson and basically says, all right, you're not going to go in the CFP, as they took care of business. That was the first time Clemson lost back at home. 1 point loss when they lost to an unranked Pitt team. If you look at this, 40 consecutive wins later, and the Tigers lose to an unranked team by 1 point.
Rattling. What is
2 weeks in a row?
Manuch, what has happened to him? What has happened to him?
I think
what have you seen?
I think he's just settled down. I think that it's a new program, new scheme. I think that he's gotten the protection, number one.
Okay.
Everybody's healthy receiver-wise, and he's finally settling into the pocket, not taking off. He's acting like a fourth-year college quarterback that's got the experience, that's trusting everything going around him. He's lining it up right now. And that's a Spencer Rattler we expected to see coming out of Pinnacle High School some 4 years ago.
Coach Beamer's letting him play.
Yeah,
good stuff.
He is.
Unranked Texas A&M handed LSU its third loss, and that basically just shut down their CFP chances as the Aggies scored 21 consecutive points in the second half. They pulled away as it was back and forth the first couple quarters there. How about USC? They outlasted Notre Dame. Caleb Williams showed why he's going to be the Heisman Trophy winner as they won 38-27. And that was a hell of a game for them. A good win for USC. So they're now in the CFP if they can get by Utah.
I'll tell you what I noticed in that game so much was the speed of USC.
Bottom line.
Yeah.
Speed kills, and USC has got it. Notre Dame doesn't.
Was that the era? Was that the Pete Carroll era of Leinart and Reggie Bush and you saw Mike Williams and all those guys in that big offensive line. So he's got dudes up front.
Yep.
Only problem is that hopefully their defense, that being the USC defense, can hold Utah down.
Alabama rolled tide as they took care of Auburn, and they are still breathing with an opportunity for a CFP. It would just suck.
I would take Ohio State over Alabama. Alabama has 2 losses.
Yeah, I would agree with that, but we'll see what happens. In Oregon State, they rallied to upset Oregon. That was a good game too. I mean, this rivalry has been going along for 127 years.
It's a long civil war. That's what it's called.
Here's the thing: 18 rushes in a row.
Yes,
21 points, and they didn't pass the damn ball.
No, never.
21
in the fourth quarter.
I'm like, Oregon. I mean, did not deserve to move forward. When you saw that, they literally. Coach Smith wore that defense down of Oregon.
328 total yards of offense, and only 60 were in the air. That's just crazy.
It's nuts.
But they had 5 players on the ground with double-digit rushing yards, so they rushed the ball quite a bit, and a good fourth quarter there. Locally, Sun Devils, 5 turnovers did it for them, as Wildcats only had 1. I thought it was remarkable that ASU only punted the ball once in that game, and that was on the first possession.
Correct.
How crazy is that? But they still lose. They dominated in a lot of categories, but things are looking up with their new hire with Dillingham.
Now, this is what I referenced earlier. You had 2 mediocre teams, which made for an exciting football game. That's what you got.
Yeah, you're looking for, okay, let's see who can outscore. First one to 52. Yeah, it's entertaining, but then you kind of go, wow. But you know what? For all the alum at U of A and the alum at ASU, they don't care what it looks like as long as they win.
Yeah, I agree, but it's not that big.
We beat our rivalry. That's all I can say. Rock had a chance to watch that KU K-State rivalry.
It was on TV for the first time.
Yeah.
I mean, Kansas State.
KU has been so bad for so many years that they're finally quasi.
Whoa. Kansas State's been pretty bad too for a lot of years.
We haven't been bad, Rock. We've been pretty relevant the last 25 years. We were here at the Fiesta Bowl a few years ago.
Yep.
This year, we're going to play the Big 12 Championship. We've done that several times. So, yeah, we've been pretty much around.
So your checks are clearing.
Well, yeah.
How much money do you send in every week?
At least every week?
Yeah.
Oh, man.
Or do you just go seasonal? You just send a check.
I do the seasonal thing. Yeah. I do my 25 bucks a year.
Yeah. I knew it was only 25 bucks.
That's Manuch.
You're like an ASU alumni.
Got my own locker, the Dan Manucci locker.
That's why you guys can't get past the championship. You go B to CFP.
I give them a few more bucks than
I
that.
used to do that for Eastern Washington, and then they put that damn red field in. And
I like that. You don't like it?
No,
but
I don't.
But it puts you guys on the map.
No.
You wouldn't even know that school or where it was until that.
Cup put Eastern Washington on the map.
Yeah, there's some truth to that.
It's kind of sad.
The red carpet did too. Come on.
Kind of sad you're known for a red carpet versus your program, but that's a whole other story in itself right there, Jimmy. Yeah. Cooper Kupp is your famous alum.
That's him.
One of the many.
So there you have it. Some college football from the weekend. It was a great weekend of football. Sadly for Arizona State, didn't work out. But yeah, I do applaud the hire for ASU. We'll see if it works out. I wish they could have maximized the announcement by having the presser today, where all the media would have been there. It was I thought unfortunate when you were watching the presser. That I saw, I watched it live on Twitter at 11 o'clock yesterday.
Yep.
And I thought that was okay. I'm like, all right, you're doing it a couple hours before the Cardinals game, but all the media members and I just selfishly being a former PR guy, being in the media. All right, Sunday, last place I'm going to get in my car, drive down to Tempe. But if it was today, we could have been there like we were for her when Herm Edwards. We were there for Herm Edwards' press conference, and we would have loved to support the program.
Absolutely.
But this is the kind of things that they
scratch your head, Rock.
You scratch your head, and you wonder why the Sun Devils maybe don't get the exposure they need and have the alumni that want to step up. But they should have done it today. And Kirk Fooey's going to join us in a few minutes here. We'll get his thoughts because he had somebody there, but you just saw the presser. Was there 10 people there? I mean, I'm being facetious, but there were not a lot. And maybe I think they had some students sitting in some of those chairs. It looked like there were more people.
Matter of fact, I found out via your email, and I saw that 11 o'clock, and I'm out there with the QBs, and I finally checked my email like at 2:30 and went, you gotta be kidding me.
And it's not like today. It's not like someone's going to grab Dillingham before. I mean, if he already inked the deal, you signed him. You could have waited a day.
Could have done it today.
Today would have been like right now, like 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock.
Sure.
Let's make the announcement. Let's maximize exposure and get everybody talking about the Sun Devils.
I don't know what they were thinking, but I agree with you, Rock. Tay would have been. You got the whole day to yourself coming off the Cardinals.
You had a Cardinal loss.
You had a loss.
All right. The Cardinal loss you're going to talk about for a few minutes.
Yeah.
I mean, it's the same story. It's Groundhog's Day, like you said.
Yeah.
So it's like, all right, let's give ASU the credit. Let's give ASU the billing.
Sure.
Give them the whole day to themselves.
Especially in a city that's ranked, 5th in the country, one of the biggest markets. I don't get how some of these people who run these programs do their job.
You got to maximize what's available to you, and they rarely ever, meaning ASU,
Sunday
do that.
at 11 o'clock at
That
late
makes
morning.
no sense.
I still don't get that right.
Holiday weekend.
Yes.
You know?
Yep.
A lot of people are traveling on Sunday,
Sure.
coming home.
They're coming home.
Trying to get home.
Yeah.
Those that could get home.
Hey, it's our 22nd year hosting Monday Night Football here at Casino Arizona. We call it the Monday Night Tailgate. We give away cash just for watching football. We do it through our kickoff jackpot, which is already over $2,600. We do $25 squares, which are free. That's what you win if you connect the numbers. We do $25 props. That's what you win for being here. We do it all. So if you want to win some cash, come on down and join us. Game time just after 6:15 today with the Steelers and the Colts. We'd love to have you here. Coming up, ABC 15's Craig Fouey for Fact or Fouey. You're listening to Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B right here on Fox Sports 910.
It's time for Fact or Fooey with ABC 15 Sports Director Craig Fouey. Fouey joins the guys each Monday to break down the top stories of the weekend. And as a reminder, Manuch writes the questions. Now here's ABC 15's Craig Fouey.
All right, before we get to Fact or Fooey, we just had a nice discussion on Arizona State and why they would have a press conference at 11 o'clock, just hours before a Cardinal game that's home. And I'm sure ABC 15 was there, but just, Fouey, what's the deal? Why would you have a press conference on a Sunday at 11 o'clock, not take today and do it today and get maximum exposure? Fooey?
Yes. Yeah, you there? You
Yeah,
got me?
sorry.
Okay,
Yeah, we didn't have you up.
There you go. You got me?
Got you, buddy.
Go.
Okay. Hey, first of all, it was 10 a.m., not 11.
Oh,
yes,
my
I
bad.
was there.
Okay.
Oh, excuse us.
Yes, I was there. Well, you guys sleep in. You don't know. You don't know when those emails come.
I'm at
8
church.
o'clock.
Damn straight.
Yeah, I'm at church.
I'm out
Oh,
there.
yeah. You don't check your email, right? Ever. I don't look at anything. I don't look at Twitter. Don't look at email. Yeah.
And I'm on the
I did.
field.
Oh,
and I'm on the field at 7 o'clock, Coach. A.M.
But that's odd, though, isn't it, Coach?
Yeah. Yada.
10 a.m. on a Sunday? I mean, that's just odd, I think. Don't you think?
No, we agree. We agree with you here. I mean, we talked about it. It's like, why not wait till this week when the Cardinals have a bye week? You get the whole week for Kenny Dillingham.
Yeah,
right?
Exactly.
But I will say it was a nice affair yesterday morning. The guy, there's a bigger question out there in terms of why you would hire a 32-year-old that's never been a head coach at any level.
Yep.
And was an offensive coordinator for one season at Oregon because he's an ASU alum. But listen, it's interesting that all the guys that cover ASU are just thrilled to death, and I don't know what the excitement is about. I met him yesterday. He's a great young guy. I think he's got a good head on his shoulder. He's going to attack things. He's going to go after it exactly what he said he should be doing. He said it, but we don't know what it's going to be like, right? We have no idea. But yet people here are thrilled to death.
Yeah.
But
well,
I'm just surprised.
Yeah, let's continue. So you basically answered the first question we were going to get you, but our second one on our list that Manuch put together is for Factor Fooey. Recruiting must be the top priority for Kenny Dillingham and his staff in order to get this program relevant. Now, Manuch said once again, but I wasn't here in the 70s, so I'm just going to say relevant. Factor Fooey.
Listen, I coached college football back in the 80s and 90s. Listen, it was always been number one. Recruiting's always number one. It's for every single school in the country. What do you mean it's number one priority for Kenny Dillingham? It's for every coach. Even Nick Saban has to recruit, for God's sake. Yes, fact. Come on, Manuch.
No, I do that.
Better than that.
No.
Fire Manuch. Fire Manuch.
Yeah,
He's got terrible questions here. Fire him.
That's one. All right, let's go to number two, Manuch.
You're going to put me on a come on, man, on tonight before the game?
Fire him. Put him in a wagon with Cliff and fire them both.
Okay, all right. So, and the next question is, keeping Sean Aguano on the staff and the hiring of Charlie Regal and Vince Amy are the right moves for this staff. Fact or Fooey?
You threw them all in there, didn't you?
Well, they're all hired.
I don't know.
They're all hired, Coach.
I don't know if they're the right moves. I mean, he's got local guys now. Now, where are you going after that, right? He's got Charlie Regal, the guy that he coached with in high school. It was head coach up at Chaparral. He's got Vince Amy, a guy he coached with at Chaparral. He's got Sean Aguano, who coached at Chandler High School. So he's got local, right? He's got guys he knows, and that's what you do when you're a head coach. And especially for the first time, you want guys who are going to be loyal to you and support you. Yeah, I think those are good moves. Do we know how they're going to coach? No, but we know they'll recruit the heck out of the state of Arizona. If that'll make a difference in wins and losses, we know that.
Yeah, let me reconnect the second question.
No.
ASU must raise millions of dollars before they recruit in order to be able to compete for those recruits coming out of high school. Fact or Fooey?
Fact. And how about yesterday morning, Nap Lawrence stands up in the middle of the thing, wants to ask a question, but he said at the end, he goes, I'm donating $1 million today for this program. I'm so thrilled. I got my wishes come true. I'm donating $1 million. So that's a good start.
Somebody needs to do it.
Yeah, really.
That's a
All
couple
right, let's
players.
move on.
Yeah, let's go to the Cardinals real fast.
Oh, my gosh. No. I listened to you guys earlier, man. I'm about ready to throw up over how sick you guys are. I want to fire everybody right now. Made me feel bad. I'm supposed to be in the holiday spirit. You guys made me feel terrible.
Coach, it's Groundhog Day all over again when you watch them play these football games.
No. Oh, yeah. What did you not like about Cliff's play calling? The 10-play, 82-yard drive, the 7-play, 19-yard drive, the 14-play, 75-yard drive, or the 4-play, 44-yard drive, or the 11-play, 75-yard drive. What was it about?
Well, I think it's the fourth. I think it's the 4th and 4 inches to go, and he calls a play action to Hopkins that was intercepted on the Cardinals.
That was
44.
not the call. That was not the call. You heard Kyler say it afterwards. We were screwed schematically. That's the problem with that. But my question to Kyler with a follow-up should have been, why didn't you check out of it?
Exactly.
If you were screwed schematically. Why didn't you? Isn't that a quarterback's responsibility to check out of a play or call a timeout at that point?
Coach, it should have been just hand the damn ball, either sneak it or hand the ball off to James Conner.
Should have been. Okay, should have been.
So, in that particular point,
who schemed all that? Who schemed all that to get James Conner 120 yards? Was that Kyler or was that Cliff?
Okay, well, why didn't you scheme it to hand it off to him again? Because that had to be one of the worst situations. You're on your own territory, interception, 44-yard line, your own 44-yard line to move from there. So that's on Cliff, man. That's you're gonna run it. You got to know what the play is exactly right.
You're the same old Manuch that played in the 70s and 80s. You want a quarterback under center. You want him to be 6'4" or taller. You want him to stand in the pocket and just hand the ball off to somebody or throw it out of there. Come on.
Fourth down and 3 inches, Coach. I would sneak the hell out and hand it up to that guy.
Philly, come on, Philly. Manuch won his fantasy this week, so
that's right, man.
He can be an armchair GM today. So
congratulations. Let's go to the last 3 series where he handed off to James Conner up the middle for -1 yard.
Okay.
James Conner, left tackle for 9 yards.
Sure.
4th down punt.
Okay.
James Conner, left tackle for 1 yard. Kyler Murray pass incomplete. DeAndre Hopkins for 4 yards. Punt. The last one, James Conner up the middle for no gain.
Okay. Yeah.
Kyler Murray sacked for -6 yards. Pass to James Conner for 9 yards. Punt. Who's ready to just attack everybody because things didn't go well at the end?
11 plays, Coach. No first down. How about roll out Kyler Murray?
I just read you the plays. Have they ever rolled Kyler out? I've been screaming for that all season. They don't roll him out.
Who's
they
that
keep him
on?
in the pocket because guys like you want him in the pocket. You want him under center and sitting in the pocket.
How about a boot, a waggle? How about a QB
I've
draw?
been screaming that all year long.
Then make me the damn offensive coordinator over there at Cardinal. We're going to win a few games over there.
Sure. Oh, yeah. Sure.
So, Philly,
common sense will come into play, Coach Food.
So, all right.
Didn't scheme that.
Let's
backup offensive linemen. Stop it.
Philly, we're all over 50 and blood pressure. Let's slow it down a little here,
Coach.
My question.
You guys are the ones who are getting me riled up.
No, that's good. That's good.
For God's sake, his play calling's terrible. What did you not like about 120 yards out of James Conner?
I like
Cliff
that.
schemed those,
That's good.
All right,
Did you know what they ran? They ran a lot of traps. They pulled guards through. They pulled tight ends through.
Did.
Cliff schemed all that with Brian Natkin, the offensive line coach who took over for Sean Cougar.
Okay.
Oh, they don't have a line coach, do they, according to you guys?
Well,
no, did somebody get in
against the Chargers?
Somebody get in your ear that, like Cliff's not the problem here in Arizona?
Well, did he drop that? Oh, that was 85, Trey McBride that dropped that pass. Oh, wait, that was number 6, James Conner that fumbled the ball in the first.
All right, so
series.
wait
a second.
Is this a function of the general manager having the right players for coach to coach him?
I've said it all year to you guys. How many times do I have to harp on this with you guys? I'm pounding my head against the wall. You don't have good players, you don't win.
They've got
third-string offensive linemen out there. Third-string guys that were on their sofa a couple of weeks ago, or backup sitting on the bench waiting to go in.
So
you can't win if you can't block.
All right, so Philly, if all the national pundits, the local guys, everyone's just all on this, on this Cliff Kingsbury hot seat, it shouldn't be him on the hot seat. It should be more on the general manager getting the right players here.
Steve Keim.
Okay, so it should be Steve Keim. It should be the narrative.
Yes.
Okay.
You guys jump on play calling, and I just went through the series. Which one didn't you like? The 75-yard drive, the 82-yard drive, the 40-yard drive, the 60-yard drive. Which ones didn't you like about play calling?
Did they win the game? No.
There you go.
They did.
There you go. So now it's not play calling, is it? Now it's not about play calling,
lose,
is it?
Players win. Coaches lose. Play. This is on Cliff. Those last 11 plays.
I understand that.
Those last 11 plays were horrific. Get a little more creative. Get 2 first downs. This game said match.
He gave it to James Conner. On every series.
Okay.
Every series. The guy you said, why didn't you hand it off?
Because
he did.
And then coach, they knew exactly where he was going. They knew that time.
Well, here you go.
So let's bounce it. Yeah, exactly. Yeah, let's bounce it outside.
So it was really creative for it was really creative for 3 quarters, but it wasn't creative on the last 3 drives.
No,
I get you.
He basically he froze up. He froze up. He choked those last 11 plays. What he did. And now,
if everybody drinks the Kool-Aid in Jonestown, you're going to step in line and drink the Kool-Aid in Jonestown?
3. Oh, hell no, we're not going to do that. But I'll have somebody else that's not making the Kool-Aid in Jonestown. That's what I'll do from there.
Stop it.
All
Come on, guys. Settle down. Cool your jets
that's a factor for you.
Is that a factor for you?
No, I love it, man. It's just it's the biggest. The difference here is you got Craig Fouey, who people may not know. It's been a long time coach. And then you got Manuch, who's just been a long-time quarterback. So it's the player versus the coach versus the player.
Exactly.
And, for Jimmy and I, we're the guys on the sideline just watching.
Winning coaches that can't win. That's the difference right there, too. They know how to close
the Cardinals. The Cardinals outgained the Chargers 366 to 311. Terrible play calling.
Good.
That's awful.
Who won the
Rushing.
game?
The Cardinals outrushed the Chargers 181 yards to 65.
Who makes the plays?
Creating that?
Who makes the
Cardinals
plays?
were 7 for 13 on 3rd down. Boy, that's horrible. That's horrible. That's over 50%. Who's calling the plays?
That's right.
What's going on out there?
Who calls the plays
Fire
in order
that guy.
to win the
Let's
game?
get Sean Payton in here.
We should get Sean Payton in here. We might see some victories.
But Craig, you wouldn't be surprised if that does happen, would you? I mean, if Cliff does get let go, if that does happen, I mean, it sounds like you don't think it should happen if it does. But
well, why would it happen? Why do you want Sean Payton so badly?
I don't. No. That's
not.
I don't think so.
Every time ASU opens up, everybody wants Danny White or Frank Kush.
Yeah.
Right. Every time.
Yeah,
so we drop a name and everybody jumps on the bandwagon. Go, Sean Payton. Well, he had a short quarterback. Yeah, it was Drew Brees, for God's sakes.
Got to have the pieces.
Yes, you have to have players. Players win, and you just said it, Manuch.
Right.
Players win, coaches lose. And we don't have the players. You can't make chicken salad out of chicken crap.
Okay,
I mean, you just can't.
You got it. Philly, what are you working on?
How many receivers? Greg Dortch was down. Rondell Moore was down.
Oh, now we're making excuses. Now we're making excuses.
Okay.
Here we go.
Okay, let's make excuses. Yeah, let's make excuses when you've got third-string guys playing offensive line, and they still got 181 yards rushing.
We won an AFC.
There's still a lot of news out there. Man. I don't. Who cares about your Buffalo
AFC
days?
championship with backups.
Come on.
Yeah.
Times are different.
Come on, Coach. I'm gonna give you a come on, man, later on tonight for crying out loud.
Oh, that's you give me one when you try to explain. How do you explain away all the crap you've been saying all day when I just read off all the drives they had, the yards they had, what happened, and you just want to complain because they lost the game? So some head has to roll because we lost the game.
You can have 450 yards, but who won the game? That's the bottom line. It's all about winning.
Okay, so it's not play calling.
It's a lot of it is play. Absolutely, is play call. What were you? The last 11 plays.
Wait. You just said you can have 450 yards, but if you lose the game, you still lost. So it's not play calling if you get 450.
It's about
if you outgain the other team, it's not play calling.
Who can close the deal at the right time? With
okay,
the proper
closing. Now that's a different story. That's a different story than play calling.
That's what I just said. Cliff can't close. You had 11 plays to try to close the deal.
Hey, Fooey, can I give you his cell and you guys can take this? You can have this conveation.
Oh, you're not going to win this argument. I'm telling.
I'm on you, Fooey.
Mark May just texted me. He said, "Keep after their ass."
Yeah, Mark.
He's a lineman. What the hell does he know for crying out loud?
By the way,
I know.
Hey, so Mark, by the way, real quick, Mark didn't like the Dillingham hire, huh?
Well, I think we're all questioning it. I think you have to question a 32-year-old that's never been a head coach at any level. I think you have to question that. You don't just jump on the bandwagon. Listen, I met him yesterday, talked to him, had a quick interview with him. He's a great young guy. I got no question about that. Good guy, good character guy. But can he pull it off at 32? Never been a head coach. I asked him, "Are you going to call the plays?" He said no. Well, I thought that was a good move, right?
Wow.
That's a smart move for a 32-year-old. Yeah. So he's been doing play calling. He's not going to do it now because he said, "I'm the head coach. I got to be on both sides of the ball and working with defense too." So he's not going to be a play caller.
Fourth and 3 inches. You're calling a freaking pass play. Unbelievable. Anyways,
I just told you it was a schematic issue. They were outmanned at the point of attack. But my follow-up was, why didn't the quarterback check out or call a timeout? Why didn't he do that?
Because he wasn't coached up to do it right.
Is that on Cliff?
Not a
franchise
quarterback.
Or is that on Kyler?
Because he didn't coach him up properly. Get the hell out of the play.
Oh, my God. And Brian Natkin's a terrible assistant offensive line coach because they schemed a great job yesterday to get James Conner 120 yards rushing.
There's a lot. That's a good point. That needs, by the way, that needs to be mentioned more. Yes. You know, you get a new coach in there.
You guys just attacked them for not having a line coach.
Yeah.
And yet they ran traps. They pulled tight ends through. They pulled guards through. They did all kinds of stuff creatively yesterday, scheme-wise, to get 181 yards rushing.
They
James Conner 120. But that was terrible play calling.
Horrible. Did they win the game?
Coach.
Damn right.
Philly.
Okay.
Thank you.
Sean Payton, where are you
Thanks,
at?
guys. My blood pressure's up. I appreciate you.
You're welcome. Thank you, buddy. Appreciate it. That's
Coach.
Craig Philly joining ABC 15. Check it out tonight. More on the hiring of Kenny Dillingham. Of course, Cardinals are on a bye week. Suns are in Sacramento. My stomach is just.
Mine's churning.
Well, it's just, I would have changed the channel. That was annoying.
No, it wasn't.
Yeah, it was.
It's a great debate.
No, it was annoying.
It's a great debate.
It would be a good debate if you two guys are like sitting in a bar, but not when Jimmy and I want to talk sports and talk about Rolling Stone coming out with their top 100 TV theme songs next. I'd rather do that. That's what we're going to do because I need to relax. It's Roc and Manuch, Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
Aikman head weighs 8 pounds.
Did you know that Troy Aikman in only 6 years has passed for 16,303 yards? Did you know the career record for most hits is 4,256 by Pete Rose, who was not
Sucks
in the
when I
Hall
do
of
all
Fame?
random fact stuff when I think I'm not going to be here. I would put all this
Time
when I
for
can't. The Rolling Stone put together a list of their 100 best TV theme songs of all time. This is number one.
Yeah.
The Jeffersons from 75 to 85. Second was a tie between the Brady Bunch and Gilligan's Island. Stanford and Son came in at number 3.
Sanford and Son.
Stanford, not Stanford, as I don't want to get Jimmy started. I don't know, Crazy Ex-Girlfriend.
I don't either.
Yeah, I don't
know what that one
I mean,
is.
I would have watched that. But I 2015 to 2019.
That's right in your wheelhouse.
Big time. Mr. Rogers' Neighborhood, at 68 to 2001. That was number 5 on the list. Twilight Zone 6.
Yep.
The Fresh Prince of Bel-Air from Philly. That was number 7. Friends was 8. The OC was 9. And some show called Too Many Cooks was only around for 1 year. In 2014 was a TV short on Adult Swim.
I'm surprised the Cheers theme isn't on there.
Yeah, I agree.
Or Sopranos. Someone heard Sopranos, unless they're just talking regular TV. If it's regular TV. But I love the Sopranos.
Yeah, that's a pretty good one. But you're right about Cheers.
Yes.
I used to bartend at a place called Maloney's in Scottsdale, and that was the song that they would play. That'd be the last song when the last call comes on, the lights come on, and it's Cheers. It was pretty cool. It was brilliant on their part. A lot of bars on the East Coast used to play New York, as the last song as the bar closes. Speaking of ex-girlfriends, crazy ex-girlfriends, according to a new survey, the average sofa lasts 8 years. Couch sofa.
Okay.
Yes.
Yeah.
And has witnessed, the couch itself has witnessed, I don't know how they got this research, 311 arguments.
They talked to the couch. Is that what they did?
They've suffered 316 drink spillages.
Oh, boy.
Okay.
And this is the big one. 286 makeup sessions.
On the couch?
Yeah, makeup.
Oh, wow. Right there on the couch.
Not make out,
Yeah,
makeup. Manuch
He got
and
excited.
Jimmy, you guys are 60 plus. The average couch
We
hosts 401 naps,
yeah, okay.
8,500 hours of TV watching,
Yep.
537 movies, and has swallowed the remote 346 times.
3.
In my house, maybe 500 times.
Yeah, I
got to go and hit the button so I can hear it beep, so you can find it.
Okay.
I'd like to know the approximation how much change has it been.
$1,200.
$1,200. That's pretty good. Yeah, we never really, Laura and I haven't really ever argued on the couch, really just standing up.
In the kitchen
or wherever. Yeah. And as far as napping, damn right, man. After that, get that food coma, sitting there watching a game or something. Bang, get that little half-hour power nap.
And the final random fact of the day, there was a baby born inside Atlanta's McDonald's.
Yep.
And with help the employees, and we're going to play the sound, but I've decided not to pull it up. They decided to name the kid Nugget. I think that's great. That's a cool nickname for a kid.
It is a cool
Especially if
nickname.
you're short.
Yeah, Nugget.
Right? Nugget. Hey, buddy.
Hey, buddy.
Nugget, you're up.
Hey, you got some sauce with that.
Nugget.
Hey, man, where'd you get that nickname? Well, back in 2022.
I was born at McDonald's. Where are you
2.
from? McDonald's
Yeah.
in Atlanta. Hey, the random facts of the day are brought to you every day by the Valley Chevy dealers. Your Valley Chevy dealer serving the Valley for over 80 years. Yes, 80 years. ValleyChevy.com. Oh, good stuff there. Hey, coming up in hour number 4, Hode Rubino will join us. We'll talk to him about the hire, and Frank Sanders on the loss. So we have a lot to get into in hour number 2, but we are out here at Casino, Arizona in the CAZ Sports Bar for tonight's Monday night game. Our progressive jackpot is already at $2,600, over $2,600. And we encourage you to come down and watch the Steelers and the Colts, as the Steelers bring a lot of fans. Typically, every time we have them on a Monday night, we're busy. We've been doing it 22 years. I would say the Steelers are probably top three, Cardinals, of course, would be first, and then Cowboys, and then Steelers, and then Raiders is how it usually falls here at Casino Arizona. So we encourage you to come on out, join us.
1 minute.
But Hode Rubino from Devil's Digest, talk about Kenny Dillingham, as you just heard from Fooey and some others, Mark May included. A lot of questions.
Well, they're iffy.
Well, I would say this. I think that they like the hire, but I think for a lot of folks is, okay, what about a more experienced, the Les Fickles of the world or some of the other guys of the world?
Yes.
Should have that were being looked at from that standpoint.
Don't you think the next move would have been for a guy 32, a MAC school or a Conference USA school, or maybe the Cincy job just opened up?
It did.
I mean, a Power 5 but small school, possibly like Cincy.
And then your buddy Harson that was just at Auburn. I mean, somebody with that experience has been down that road. By the way, what about
10.
Coach Prime looking at Colorado seriously?
He is.
I don't think he fits that program.
He said that 2 weeks ago. Yeah. I don't think he's going to take it. Why? Wait out. There'd be a better job.
Calling All Sports with Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. Proudly sponsored by On Air Sports Marketing and is powered by the injury attorneys Lerner and Rowe. In Iraq and need a check? Make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. And always online at lernerandrowe.com. Now time for Calling All Sports with Roc and
You guys are hot.
with Jimmy B on Fox Sports 910.
Just after 3 o'clock, Roc, Manuch, Jimmy B, Jackson, and Ben, we got you today here from Casino, Arizona. 101 of McKelps for Monday night tailgate. As we talk about the Cardinals struggling at home, a late 2-point conversion by the Chargers put that to bed, and the Sun Devils hiring Kenny Dillingham, the former Chaparral player and coach, as the next head coach for Arizona State. Suns tonight are in Sacramento. They make an announcement today that James Jones got a well-deserved promotion as he is now the president of basketball operations as well. As
Good
they
for
made
him.
that announcement today. So general manager, president of basketball operations, he's doing it all. But the Kings, surprisingly, 10-8, having a good year so far. Got the Suns, who are 13-6, who've won 4 straight after they knocked off the Jazz on Saturday, and they're in first place in the Western Conference. So good one tonight. Valley Sports at 8 o'clock. 8 o'clock with the hour time difference. So good stuff there. But we are out here in the new sports book in the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona, our 22nd year of hosting it. And a lot of cash to give away just for watching football. We've given away over the years somewhere around $850,000 plus.
That's incredible.
Just for watching football, arguably the best promotion in sports radio, I believe. And you can make an argument just any type of radio to give away that kind of cash and do it every Monday night. It's funny that there are some others, places that have these kind of games inside too, they do similar promotions, but they do them like, the first Monday of the month. We do it every Monday.
Every Monday.
Giving away the cash. So it's a good deal. Hopefully you can come out and join us. Coming up this hour, though, Hode Rubino is going to join us in about 10 minutes. Devil's Digest, breaking it down this new hire with Kenny Dillingham and Frank Sanders and what the Cardinals need to do during this bye week. What changes will be made, if any, and will there be any changes at the head coach? Speaking with Craig Fouey the last hour, he put most of the blame on just not having the players.
Correct.
Not the coaching, not the play calling. And Manuch and him went at it. If you want to hear that, you can go to the iHeartRadio or download the iHeartRadio app or go to rockandmanuch.com and you can listen to the podcast coming up here in about a half hour.
I think that a lot of, from fans say, the one thing I always think about is that it's all about the bottom line. Who wins? You can have all the yards, you can have all the sizzle and everything about it. You can throw for 10,000 yards a game, whatever. It's about what was the final score, who won. Because for so many years, we used to see, I'll go way back to the Jets. I'll go even in the Saints. All the yardage that Drew Brees would have, but did they ever win? And then when Sean Payton pretty much got his running back, got the players. Yeah, you got to have the players. But when it basically comes down to it, you have a coach that's calling a pretty damn good game. Can he close the game out? Can he go to adjust within the adjustments? The chess match that's what's in. That's why I bemoan the fact about the 11 plays that they had at the end of the game, not getting a first down. Well, then one of the things you got to do as a play caller, understand what they're doing. You've pretty much have set them up. You know that James Conner's going to get the ball, either bounce it outside, boot, waggle, all the above, but be creative to that point. And don't be afraid. Don't be afraid to go win that game. And I just think sometimes the moment is just too much for Cliff Kingsbury at this National Football League level. Hell, it might have been at the Texas Tech level as well, too, when you see it. But those are the things that you look at. They don't care how glitzy, boy, and you guys threw for 1,000 yards, but did you win?
Yeah.
No, you didn't win. And on that standpoint, Vance Joseph, I got to put some blame on Vance Joseph as well, too. His defenses succumbed those last couple of drives by this Chargers team. Good field position, get a punt, 5-yard penalty. They had guys out of position. You had guys wide open. A good job as far as getting the hot routes out, getting the plays out there by Justin Herbert. And then that last 2-point conversion, a little bit of disarray as far as who's got who. Well, Isaiah Simmons has got Everett basically caught that. He's out of position to make that play as well, too. So it's all about, here's you got a team that is just continuing to struggle. What changes do they make? They, from the standpoint of changes, figure out ways that you're getting out schemed when it comes down to game at the very end of the game.
I'm just curious, Manuch, if your narrative would still be the same if the Chargers didn't get that 2-point conversion and the Cardinals walk away with a win. What would you be saying today?
That they dodged a bullet is what I'd say.
All right, fair. That's fair, but I think the narrative would have been a little bit different. I think you would maybe agree on what Craig Fouie said and all the play calling, and that they played a pretty good game.
No, what Fouie said
up until the last 3 drives that you argued, which he argued back and forth that they were pretty good plays. You went with the hot hand.
Okay.
He went with the hot hand with James Conner.
Here's the thing. What happened prior to is all well and good that helped you get the lead and built on that. But it's those last critical drives where this Cardinals team obviously got out schemed from the defensive standpoint. That's where you got to go, okay, what's our 4-minute drive at the end of the game? What do you have that we can mix some things up to not go to the hot hand, because they're starting to focus in on the hot hand, trying to run it up. So at that point, you got to, okay, here's some things we've got to do. They're all over Connors. How about a play fake to Connors? I have no problem with them putting the ball in the air on a short pass to get 4 or 5 yards to give you manageable third down conversions, especially when you're backed up like that. And then you also took a sack back in there as well, too. You can't do that. It's the only sack they took, that being the Cardinals, in one of those last 3 drives.
This offensive line is beat up,
maligned.
And
I get it.
Give them a game ball and a loss.
You can't ever give a game ball and a loss.
I'm being facetious, but
it's like,
but to my point is, you got a different coach. You got 4 guys that aren't the starters, and James Conner has a career type game. And, Kyler didn't play that poorly.
Well, and here's the thing. They had this. They're going against probably one of the worst rush defenses in the league.
It's always
the Chargers.
an excuse.
No, I'm just saying that they should.
You can't give the Cardinals credit for anything, can you?
No, I give them credit for them running the ball against one of the worst rush defenses in the league.
They took advantage of it.
They took advantage
That's
of it.
what you should do.
And they took one of the worst pass defenses in the league and took advantage of it.
Okay, so you give them some credit there.
I give them credit. I give them credit for up to the last 4 minutes of the game.
That's where you're dropping the hammer.
That's where you drop the hammer. That's where you got to close the deal, Rock. I don't care.
It's easy to say that from us on a Monday as armchair quarterbacks, but
anytime that's the one thing we always figured out. Okay, we got the lead, or we got to figure out, how do we close this out? How do we get 2 or 3 first downs to box him from getting the ball back? Because Justin Herbert, they've been the ones that have had the lead and lost it. They were somewhat due, so they've got the weapons. They got a banged up offensive line on top of it.
Yeah.
So how you close the deal, how you close that thing, all that other stuff goes for naught. If you can't get 2 or 3 first downs and at least pin them back against their own end zone, give them, if they got a half a minute left, okay, then they see what happens. You can get them to stop the drive at that point in time.
Cardinals are 1-5 at home this season. Manuch, how come they can't win on their home turf?
Again, I just think that there's something there in reference to the teams they're playing. I think I call it the coaching. I call it all the above. Now, they're also, this is an interesting fact they popped up, that Kyler Murray was 11 out of 17 losses as a starting quarterback and finishing quarterback that they came up with yesterday. I had no idea.
Mm-hmm.
He's lost 11 out of the last 17 as a starting quarterback.
Okay.
So a lot of that can be helped out. We talked about the 4th and 1. Okay. Schematically wasn't correct. All right, at that point, who's coaching up Kyler Murray if it's schematically correct? And either you come up the line of scrimmage. If you can't change the play, then call a timeout. All right, if you're going to go for it, 4th and inches, and you're going to try to surprise them,
why didn't he check out? Why didn't he check out of it? If he felt that the play was doomed from the get-go, why didn't he check out?
That's a great question from the standpoint. All right,
he needs to answer that.
And then I thought Craig was, hey, then follow up, and then why didn't you check out of it? Why didn't you go with get up there and go easy, go sneak, or go with the handoff?
By the way, the left tackle, DJ Humphries, who, of course, on Saturday, if you saw, he was placed on the IR. He has now been it's been announced by Cliff today that he is out for the rest of the year.
Okay.
So he will miss all the games. He could have came back second to last game of the season being on the IR. So he is out for the rest of the year with back injury.
I think that at this point, guys, too, you're looking at guys that are injured. Is it worth bringing them back? Or do we just have them pretty much, sit tight the rest of the season?
These guys get paid,
I get it.
Put them to work.
I get it. But you're also looking at the other things, too. And also, when you're looking at Rodney Hudson, who's on the IR, looks like he's probably not going to come back. He'll probably retire, unfortunately, go off the sunset.
So that's a big story, of course, everything that happened yesterday with the Cardinals. We mentioned the Suns having won 4 straight. They'll go at it again tonight. But the big hire for Arizona State, Kenny Dillingham, the press conference yesterday morning, Sunday morning at 10 o'clock. Many of you maybe did not see it. But good call that they made this hire sooner than later, like it or not. You can question all day long how the youth of this coach, how young this coach is, 32 years old. But the story is phenomenal. Kid who played at Chaparral High School in Scottsdale, gets hurt his senior year, ends up being one of the OC for the GAV team, and then goes on to Arizona State. And then, of course, he's been following Mike Norvell and doing his thing. And now he is the head coach at Arizona State. Never, ever a head coach anywhere. Has only been an offensive coordinator for 1 year. I'm anxious to see how this is going to work. I hope it does. I would love a guy that come in here and call this home. You saw his emotional press conference.
Right.
You hope that this can be a lifer. This can be a Frank Kush type deal where he's here for a long time, have some success, maybe get to a Rose Bowl, win a Rose Bowl, and have some success over the team down in Tucson.
Rock, the only reason he will be here for an extended period of time is if he has success. If he flames out in 3 years, he's gone.
Yeah, but if you look at what Michael Crow has done, because he's the one who's making the decisions. I don't care what anybody says.
Sure.
The guys have been here for a while. Herm was here maybe a year longer than he should have.
Yes.
I think a lot of us felt he was going to get let go last year, and still they kept him on for a few games this year.
I think to Jimmy's point, though, Rock, I think that if this experiment, if the young guy with these coaches after 2 or 3 years is still hasn't made progress, then at that point you go after a more experienced individual.
The thing is that you see a Luke Fickell at Wisconsin. You don't give him 2 or 3 years. He's got to win right away.
Right away.
Sure.
Yeah.
Matt Rule in Nebraska, the situation there, but he's got to win right away.
Yes,
and I think he's a guy that's got experience from Baylor and Temple. He's been in programs. He can turn it around. You can't look at what he did at Carolina, but still, that's going to help some of these young kids. Hey, this guy was a coach in the National Football League. I don't know. Just because the guy's 32, can he relate to these kids better in recruiting
30.
and things like that? But I don't know, man. If I was the AD, and I've always wanted to be an AD, and I play one on radio sometimes, I go with the experience over some guru offensive-minded guy who's not even going to call the plays.
I thought the same thing too, Rock. I think they go after that individual's got experience, knows how it takes. But nowadays, who knows? Maybe it's just all about the money for the kids, and a lot of it is. You go get the kids; they'll play and pay.
The guy that's been following this, he's been covering this team since he went to school there. Hood Rubino from Devil's Digest will join us next to break it all down. We're live at the CAZ Sports Bar in Casino, Arizona for tonight's Steelers-Colts game. That's all coming up next. It's Fox Sports 19. Next head coach for Sun Devils, Kenny Dillingham. We'll have fun with that over the years, I'm sure. Hode Rubino, Devils Digest.com. Join us. You always can follow him on Twitter at Devils Digest. All right, Hode. You've been covering this team for a long time. What makes this hire today any different than the last 3 or 4 or 5 where we talk about the same thing, alumni support, getting the right players here, making Arizona State relevant? What is different about this hire that Sun Devil fans should be excited about?
Because you have, for the first time ever, an alumnus, somebody who was born and raised in Arizona, graduated from the school. And I just feel that that is just really organic Sun Devil pride that simply did not exist, at least not in the 22 years that I've been covering the team. And that you probably would have to go a couple decades before that, and maybe go all the way back to Frank Kush as somebody that, granted wasn't an ASU alumnus, granted was not born and raised in Arizona, but definitely exhibited that Sun Devil pride. So I think that's what really excites folks. And look, the definition of insanity is trying the same thing over and over, expecting different results. And when you go with the grizzled veterans and that doesn't work, when you go with the pro model and that doesn't work, why not try something that is still, on the one hand, out of the box, but on the other hand, just really utilizing an element that can energize the base, if I'm using a term from politics. So I think that's what makes the hire of Kenny Dillingham one that really has excited Arizona State fans. And this is a guy that is as young as he is, definitely has an impressive body of work, and isn't somebody that is going to be really showing inexperience or anything like that, at least not in my opinion.
So, all right, with that said, when you just said there, what's more important, the experience as a coach in football or being an alumnus of your school?
Well, I mean, that's a good question, and I think the experience still be more important than being an alumnus. And obviously, the type of staff that Kenny Dillingham is going to have around him is ultimately going to dictate the whatever games go in the win and loss column. I mean, I'm definitely not oblivious to that, but Kenny Dillingham, even though he's the youngest coach at the Power 5 level, the first coach to be born in the 90s at the Power 5 level, nonetheless, this is a guy that already has been an offensive coordinator, not in 1 but 3 Power 5 programs, has really put up the numbers that definitely should impress you from a resume standpoint. So yes, again, experience does absolutely matter. And I think with the Dillingham, you really have that perfect combination of having somebody who's definitely experienced, but at the same time, also somebody that can really stoke that Sun Devil pride, can really galvanize the community more than Herm Edwards or Dennis Erickson, for example. So those are aspects that really cannot be ignored. And in the world of NIL, in the world of transfer portal, those are elements that definitely play a huge part in the success or the failure of any football program, especially at the Power 5 level.
And let's hit that right there, Hode, about the recruiting. And I get that. What will ASU, how are they going to be able to compete with the Joneses, with the NILs and the transfer portal, where it's all about the cash for that top-notch kid that you're going to go recruit that's got a $200,000 deal on the table and is guaranteed $25,000 if he goes to Texas Tech or USC. How are you going to get that kid? And does the alumnus boosters, whomever, can they step up to go get that cash that they're going to need to become relevant again?
Well, as you know, I mean, there were a lot of viral moments yesterday in Kenny Dillingham's introductory press conference, and right up there in the top 3 was a longtime booster, Nap Lawrence, a person I know you're very familiar with,
sure,
who was actually the 4th one in the line of media to ask questions, and he obviously did not have a question, but rather a resounding statement that he was going to donate $1 million to the NIL collective.
That's a good
and
start.
Sure,
that's a good start, Hode. Good start.
Yeah, and look, and it wasn't like the coffer was absolutely empty before Nap Lawrence made that incredible, generous gesture. But nonetheless, I think that is something that I don't know if Nap Lawrence would make that commitment if a Tom Herman was hired, for example. So I think that the NIL money is going to improve How much, I think, is really anybody's guess right now. But I do feel that is one aspect that really is going to kick into higher gear. As you probably know, Brittany Willett, who is an executive with the Arizona Coyotes, has been hired now to be running the NIL, and obviously with her experience in the pro sports arena, I think can really just make the NIL operations really more effective. It really started as just a grassroots movement of some prominent boosters, but now when you got an executive from the professional world of sports, I think it's just one organization that can really work much more effectively. So I have no doubt in my mind that the NIL is really going to start being a solution and not a problem when it comes to Arizona State. But to what level, that remains to be seen. But I think there is some valid optimism when it comes to not losing players to the transfer portal because NIL, and in turn also being able to gain players from the transfer portal due to the NIL deals that you can offer them. So I think that's one area that I think is going to look better and really is going to help the program move forward.
All right, I'm all good with that stuff, Hode. However, what after 3 seasons, the program is just 500? Do you then rethink, or do you still ride with a young coach and maybe in private closed-door meetings you think maybe we should have hired somebody that had head coaching experience?
Look, I mean, I don't want to call the looming NCAA sanctions as an excuse,
okay,
but that is definitely an explanation why the turnaround in Tempe is going to take some time. And that's just one aspect that cannot be ignored, cannot be, understated or overstated, however you want to look at it. So I think when you have a young alumnus as a head coach, you do have the patience on your side, especially knowing some of the recruiting challenges that Arizona State is going to face because of the NCAA sanctions, which have not been levied yet. We don't know what the severity is. I mean, heck, we don't even know what the timeline of those sanctions are going to be. So when you talk about 3 years and still being at 500, then I definitely think that is going to be one negating factor when you talk about, okay, is this the right coach or wrong coach? However you want to phrase the question. Now, I mean, if you're talking about 5-6 years down the road when the effect of the sanctions is really not there anymore, and you still have a team that's struggling, I think that is a much more valid question at that time. But I don't think anybody's fooling themselves as much optimism as exists in Tempe right now, as much as Kenny Dillingham absolutely won that first conference. I don't think anybody, including Dillingham himself, is fooling themselves that this is going to be a quick turnaround. But I just feel that the bricks of the foundation that is needed to even have a chance at a turnaround are there and will continue to actually develop in the weeks and months to come.
Hode, I love the staff, keeping Sean Aguano on the staff. Charlie Regal leaving Idaho State as its head coach to come on, be the special teams coach, tight ends coach, and assistant head coach. And then Vince Amy as the defensive line coach. Who other assistants are coming aboard that you're aware of as of right now?
Well, let's put it this way. I mean, I think the fact that Kenny Dillingham came from Oregon, you might expect maybe 1 or 2 assistants from Oregon.
Okay.
You might expect some other Pac-12 assistants. You might expect even some coaches from the local high school ranks. So all I got to say is, keep tuned to all our updates at Devil's Digest.
Hey, any speculation to what his salary is?
I think the salary would be somewhere between $3 and $4 million. Herm Edwards, at the last year of his contract, did make just under $4 million. I don't think any Dillingham should give ASU the hometown discount because there's an alumnus, and I don't think that ASU is even asking for that discount in turn. And going back to the age factor, I don't think Kenny Dillingham should be quote unquote punished. He's only 32, and give him a salary that's going to be well under market value. So I think between $3 and $4 million, and probably closer to $4 million annual salary for probably about 5 years. I think that's a reasonable expectation salary-wise when it comes to Dillingham.
Okay. So what are you working on Devil's Digest? Because I think it's more important now than ever to someone like you that has a platform with Devil's Digest to try to get this alumni even more so engaged than they have been. The basketball program's playing well. It'd be nice to see I look at the alum the Phil Mickelsons, the James Hardens, the Duceys, Kate Spade and David Spade. I mean, you could go on and on. There's such a huge base of alum. It'd be nice for them to step up and maybe help out Nap Lawrence and throw in some cash to get some better players here.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you asked me as far as what I'm working on right now. It really is multiple fronts. I mean, obviously, Kenny Dillingham trying to round out his staff. That's one the front. Recruiting really, I guess, kind of gets divided into two fronts. First of all, the old school recruiting, if you will, what high school prospects are on the table, especially locally for Arizona State to try to add to the ranks, whether they're committed or uncommitted prospects, and who knows, there's some junior college prospects will be in the mix. But then you also have the transfer portal, and I love what Ken Dillingham said in his press conference, that he loves the transfer portal. He does embrace it because he feels that the players do have the power. And if you have a player that absolutely has been lied to during the recruiting process just to get him to School X, if he doesn't like it after 1 or 2 years, he's gone. The transfer portal gives him the opportunity to leave and to be immediately eligible. So I think when you talk about a guy like Kenny Dillingham, that definitely has receipts that are probably longer than a CBS receipt, if you know what I mean, as far as what he can do, at least on offense. I think Arizona State, for many reasons, but that reason maybe primarily, can be a very attractive destinations for players on that side of the ball that are looking for a new home. So I feel ASU is going to be very active in the transfer portal. It's really hard so late in the game to get that many 2023 prospects when you have a head coaching change. So ASU was going to go heavier in the transfer portal this year, probably next year too. But that's something we're going to cover. And yeah, I mean, we're talking a lot of football right now, and for very good reason. But like I said, Arizona State basketball really out to a good start. They're starting Pac-12 play in the next couple of days over there. We've been all over the coverage of that team. So there's definitely a lot going on right now with Arizona State. Football, basketball. We have a major baseball feature coming out later on this week. So we're definitely working on a lot of different fronts, all for good reasons. That's a very exciting time, I think, to be a Sun Devil fan, and we're trying to really fulfill the everlasting need of fans for information about their Sun Devils.
Keep up the great work, Hode. Thanks for making some time for us today. We appreciate it.
No problem. Thanks for having me on.
Hode Rubino, DevilsDigest.com. Follow him on Twitter at Devils Digest. We'll switch gears, talk some NFL football regarding the Cardinals as they're out of the playoffs now. What do they need to do with this last 5 games when they come out of this bye? Former Cardinal receiver Frank Sanders will give us his thoughts next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B, Fox Sports 910.
guys are hot.
Roc and Manuch, now on Fox Sports 910.
That's right, Frank Sanders now on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B. You always follow him on Twitter at FrankSanders81. He's part of the GoPHX.com family. And he joins us now to talk about this Cardinal team that's lost 6 of 8. Big fella, man. What do you do during the bye week after that's just a heartbreaking loss at home? When could have
What
gone
do
the
you
other way.
do on the bye? It's 1, 2, 3 Cancun. That's what it is right now.
Cancun.
That's fine.
Get in a couple rounds of golf. That would be bad.
Hit the water.
Hey, well, seriously, what would you've been in situations where you come off a loss going into a bye week? A lot of it is the guy's got to be out of the office anyway. You can't be working these guys out, because of just the rules and all that kind of stuff. But what is you think their plan is going forward?
Honestly, the number one thing would be is everyone. I was going to say this number one thing. Everyone has to look themselves in the mirror and get their minds right. They're going to have to kind of figure out how to come back with a fresh attitude and a fresh mentality, thinking that there's a lot of things that can happen and we can finish the season 9-8, and for something magical could happen. We don't know how all the cards are going to play out, but we got to give ourselves the best chance. So guys, get away from the game of football. Go spend time with your family, kind of regroup. If you need treatment, come back in and get treatment. And then when we come back in, let's kind of get ready to try to make a run, try to get 5-0, and then we can see what happens and let the chips fall where they may.
Frank, you watched the end of that game, and we watched the last 11 plays, and we were talking about, you're going to Connor, you're going to James Conner. I talked about a 4-minute offense where you've got a defense pretty much keying in on that particular horse you've been riding in James Conner the whole time. Lack of creativity, 4-minute offense, nowhere to be found. You roll out Kyler. All you need is 2 or 3 first downs out of 11 plays, nowhere to be found. How would you transcribe those last 2 possessions by the Cardinals to not be able to put that game away?
We talk about momentum swings, right? You're talking about the Cardinals. They scored 24 points in the first half, but then you look on the back end. The Chargers end up scoring 11 points, and the Cardinals only scored 7 in the second half of the game. And it just shows you situational football or being able to finish a game, keeping your foot, you just say metal to the pedal, man, and just pressing in on your opponents while you got a chance to do it. Once the momentum swung in the favor of the Chargers, it felt like nothing that the Cardinals could do would help them. Now, I'm going to go back and say this, Manuch. If Trey McBride makes that catch on 3rd and about 10 or 3rd and 12, it changes the narrative. It doesn't mean that we win, but it takes away some of their timeouts. It runs at least another minute and a half off the clock to at least a minute and a half off the clock. And if we don't get anything, we have to punt it, and they'll probably get it back with like 36 seconds to go. Now, can a team go down and score? It's possible, yes, but it would have definitely put the momentum on the behest of the Cardinals, and they could have probably walked away with a win. But look, that was a very tough loss. You can definitely see the guys try to fight, but the creativity on the back end, like you said, Manuch, just wasn't there.
Frank, I want to go to the 2-point conversion. I thought it was a brilliantly designed. You being a former wide receiver, how well was that play conceived, and how important was it for that wide receiver to run his route accurately in order to clear that space for Everett?
Here's the funny thing about that, Jimmy B, is that when I get to the line of scrimmage and I see Isaiah Simmons on me, I'm saying thank you.
Yes.
I'm saying thank you. I literally am like that, because I know for a fact, like, the guys, they just it's not something I'm saying to be negative. I'm just saying our linebackers and some of our guys struggle covering angle routes and covering the flat routes with other guys. And I think that if I saw Isaiah Simmons, I'd have been like, thank you, I'm about to score. We're about to score right now, dog. We're about to eat. And I'd have looked at it that way, because he has been struggling in that area of defensing as a coverage man.
Well, not only that, I mean, the design of the play, and I mentioned that earlier with Isaiah Simmons on him, and no matter if they came out and lined up as they were reviewing the play, and they lined up again before a timeout. So it seemed like that 2-minute offense, that 2-minute play took like a half an hour. They knew exactly what they were going to do. Okay, all that being said in reference to watching that play unfold, you talked about the momentum and all those kind of things that happened to it. The fourth down play, 4th and inches, schematic or no schematic, why Kyler didn't check out of it, why ran the play. I talk about coaching. Talk about momentum at the end of the first half, which flipped it. On that interception, they got the ball at the 44 of the Cardinals from there. Why get overly creative? Keep it simple, stupid. Why not just go with the basic handoff or the quarterback sneak? That, to me, was one of those plays that when Cliff said he'd do it all over again if he had the chance, I just scratch my head when I see that going, keep it simple, get the first down, move on.
Well, if he says he'd do it all over again, I think that Kyler said it best. We were screwed because the defensive coverage they had trumped the play we wanted to run. So unless somebody missed an assignment, and if you look at the film and say, well, okay, if D-Hop goes and he cuts off the safety, he rubs shoulders versus the safety and acts like he's running like a little sit-down route. It throws him off, and then McBride gets to the flat. Then you got to pass. That's great. But the defense they had, Kyler said they were screwed, basically. And so at the end of the day, any quarterback in that situation, and knowing that we had timeouts, Rock, you got to make a decision. You got to say, hey, this can't work here. This can't work here. We got to go check. Omaha, hold up.
Yeah.
Call a timeout. Let's reset. This down is too important. And I think that's the moment where you got to look at it. This down is too important. One of the announcers said, which was crazy, if the cornerback doesn't catch the ball and knocks it down, he actually took away 22 yards just by catching the ball. So I mean that's situational football. You got to know what's going on. You're talking about coaching, it is. And I if I'm Cliff, if I want to call that play again, I'm definitely hoping that it's not in that defense. And once you know that defense will trump what play you're trying to run, you're supposed to come out of that. You're supposed to check out of that, Rock, or you got to go into something else and call a timeout just to reset everything because you know this play is not going to work against that defense.
Got a couple more minutes with Frank Sanders here on Fox Sports 910. Frank, what would you like to see Cliff work on during this bye week with his team, or do you expect him just to keep it moving the ship along the way he's been doing?
If he can get his ab game a little bit better, I'd like that.
Okay.
I think his abs are not intact. He needs better abs,
get a couple good workouts in. Yeah. Maybe some pants that maybe go over the ankles.
Yeah, and
maybe
And Frank, riddle me this: why does he tie his shoes? He had those white shoes on, and they were untied. Wouldn't he trip going up and down the sideline, or is that just the style? What's up with that?
Hey man, hey, we got a young coach man that's fashionable. He's fly. He's all into the moment, man. But I would say this here, though, respectful. Like, look, your job's at stake, and I really do think it is. You're 1-10 at home, and since last November, that's atrocious. I don't care how you like it as an owner. I don't know how you think your fan base is going to accept that because they're losing at home, and I think that's terrible in itself.
2 minutes.
His job is on the line, and whatever he has to do, I mean, him and Kylie got to get together, man, and figure out how we gonna have a good run and what works. I think that's just the challenge. I don't know if there's anybody in that locker room, in the coach's locker room, that's challenging him in that manner. Maybe that might be confrontational right now, just to even have that conversation with him because he's the head coach. Cliff says he don't believe that his job is at stake, and that to me is very surprising considering the way the guys are playing. But if I'm him, I'm going back and I'm saying I got DeAndre Hopkins, I got Hollywood Brown, my name guys. I got to get them the ball. I got to feed these guys. They got to be. I don't care if I'm running 1 yard route, 2 yard routes. I'm running slants. I'm running shallow crosses. Whatever needs to work, I'm running that stuff. And I think that's just me. But as a coach right now, he's on the fire in a lot of ways. And you got to get the guys to still believe in you. What do you say coming out of a break, getting ready to play the Patriots with one of the greatest coaches to ever live in the NFL football, in the National Football League? And Bill
1 minute.
And you got to ask yourself, what are you going to do knowing that all he does is take away everything that you think you do good at? And I think he's got to ask that to himself. And I think that's going to be a tough question over the next 2 weeks.
And the 4 minute offense in the game, I'm not throwing to a rookie wide receiver tight end. I'm throwing to those two guys you mentioned. I'm going to find them. I'm coming to them. I'm not going to that rookie tight end, not for one iota. So I think he needs to reevaluate who he's throwing the ball to in the 4 minute offense.
You know what's funny about that, though, Manuch? Here's what we do get to see, guys. that we drafted a second round tight end that we thought was ready to come in and play a little bit over 1,200 yards last year with Colorado State. And I thought that was, okay, that's a good pick since the tight ends right now are dominating right now, Rock. But in truth, why he hasn't played, why the NFL hasn't come to him that fast, you guys see that's how hard it is. The transition from the NFL, from college and being a dog and being a beast and being the third best tight end in the NFL draft to coming to the NFL, it shows you that it's not that easy of a transition. And he's showing us, man, that, right now, the transition is that much more harder for him because he's the man now. There's no Zach Ertz to protect you. We're trying to find ways to get you the ball, and you got to go out and make plays. And I think right now he's just he's got to get his nerves together so he can go out and be the guy that he really wants to be.
Frank, we love you, buddy. Have a good week, man. Thanks for the time.
It's always fun, brother. I love you, Rock, more than I love everybody else.
That goes without being said.
Look at that.
And congratulations, you got Hugh Freeze there in Auburn. I mean, because you guys didn't play the Iron Ball this year, right? I think they skipped it this year for you. So it's good.
I thought I loved you. Now you're getting nasty. Now you're being nasty.
No, good hire, man. It's a good hire. He's Frank Sanders. Hey, follow him on Twitter at FrankSanders81. And, of course, you can check him out at GoPHX.com. He's part of the family there. Does a great job. Coming up, our State 48 Roofing. It's your call of the day results. And what's on tap tonight? How about the Suns? We'll get into that next. It's Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B here on Fox Sports 9.
day. If you're looking for a full-service law firm, just make one call. That's all. 602-977-1900. Lerner and Rowe, voted Arizona's best law firm.
This is literally home. Home. So I say that because this place is special. The state is special. The people in this room are special. I got guys in my wedding right there. Pretty emotional, right? It's just who I am. The one thing you're going to get from me, okay? I am who I am. I am who I am. I'm be the same person every single day I show up to work. I'm going to be fired up to be here, fired up to be a Sun Devil. And this place, what this place needs to be successful, it's already been successful. We've seen it. The leadership from top to bottom is in line. That's why I'm here right now. The leadership from top to bottom is in line. We need this entire valley to come together. You want to win at the highest level. You want to maximize this place. We need everybody in this room. Positive things. We need everybody in this room to get involved. If you don't know how to get involved, how do you get involved? This is one of the biggest metropolitan areas in the country. It's growing at a rapid rate.
10 seconds is hot.
Valley behind us. We need the state behind us. We need butts in seats. We need everything that this valley has all in. Dilly.
That's right, Dilly. Kenny Dillingham, the new head coach for Arizona State. That was the presser yesterday morning. Very emotional, former Sun Devil, whole family Sun Devil. I think the Sun Devil faithful, for the most part, are pretty happy about the hire, but we're basically being cautious because you just don't know the lack of experience that he has. But I'll buy in. It's hard not to win a press conference anymore. Seems like every coach at every town, every job that's been opened in this market, the coach does a tremendous job of winning the presser.
Press conference.
Like Herm Edwards destroyed it. He killed it.
Yep.
Even you go back to
Erickson
and
Todd Graham.
Todd Graham was an amazing presser.
Yeah.
But we're gonna root for him. Love the fact the local kid, first alumnus to take over as head coach for the Sun Devils. So it'll be a wait and see. You're gonna have to have some patience. If you're an alum and you got a little extra money, you may want to spend it. You may want to donate because they're going to need it. It's still Arizona State, and it's going to take a while for this school to be recognized as a football powerhouse.
I still think the key factor is going to be NCAA and the penalties that they get and how bad that's going to set.
I don't think it's going to be
a factor, Jimmy. It's going to come and go.
It's going to be a factor.
Yeah.
How can it not? Because it's going to take away from the
Here's
recruits.
going to happen. I think precedent's been set by Air Force from that standpoint.
True.
Air Force,
which is a pretty big deal.
Which is
you threw the hammer down on Air Force.
No. Well, here's the thing. That's it. Our government.
I know. That's how screwed up that is.
So I think them knowing what precedent is they took away postseason play and then a few scholarships, whatever it is.
Yep.
Okay, that's a lot of money, Manuch.
Yeah, it is. But Kenny knows the lay of the land for that's coming down the pike. Now, why the hell
does he? How much experience does he have to know that? Has he been part of a violation?
We got to know that something's going to come down that's going to affect
Three.
the
How would he know?
What do you mean? Because we know that the Air Force almost had the same exact scenario, and then when something does come down,
they got hammered down.
They got they lost the play, and they also lost reference to some scholarships. So we know that's eventually going to be something he's going to have to deal with from that standpoint. So when you're out recruiting and making some of those calls and understanding what that's going to take place is what they're dealing with. So,
but then again, at the same time, and no disrespect, the NCAA is such a messed up
absolutely
institution that just because something went down to Air Force doesn't mean the same thing's going to happen at Arizona State.
The egregiousness of the act, I agree with the Rock, is with that.
Hey, what's on tap? Brought to you by 72 Sold tonight. 6:15 on ESPN. It's the Colts hosting the Steelers, Monday Night Football. We're out here at Casino, Arizona, and the CAZ Sports Bar. Love for you to come down, try to win some of this cash that we have. We got a lot of it. We give it away every Monday just for watching football. So tonight on Valley Sports Arizona, 8 o'clock, the Suns are at
2 minutes.
Kings. Kings are a pretty good team
Yes,
right
they
now.
are.
They're playing
Yeah,
some pretty good basketball. And What's on Tap is powered every day here on Roc and Manuch with Jimmy B by America's home selling program, 72 Sold. Everyone knows the home sales market is getting tougher. Number of sales are down, the prices are down, but 72 Sold is still getting top dollar for their customers. Let them help. Don't go down the traditional way. It's a mistake. Go to 72sold.com and get your price, a higher price at 72sold.com. Our It's Your Call question today, which is brought to you by State 48 Roofing. Let's get to it, Manuch.
Did ASU make the right choice in hiring Kenny Dillingham as its new football coach? You can still go to @Roc and Manuch on Twitter. You can either answer yes, need his energy, or no, needed experience. Right now, walking away with it is yes, need his energy, 85.5%. No, needed experience, 14.3%.
So let me ask you, I think the biggest problem that we talked about, Herm Edwards, he had the energy, right?
1 minute.
Okay, so, great, yes. But experience, he had no collegiate head coaching experience, but he had the NFL experience. Thought that would be good, but he didn't have, I don't think he could relate to the kids at the age that he is. I don't know, man. There's some similarities in a weird way that I think play into this, but you got to keep our fingers crossed, man. And they're hiring all these local guys. That's great. I love Charlie Regal. There's some of the other hires. But, man, you need some guys that have been coaching at D1
30
at a high level.
I think to your point there, Rock,
to win games.
The form, having the college experience as an OC in that whole realm
DC,
or that genre,
everything.
He's in that pool, so to speak, where Herm was not in that pool.
But he's not going to play call.
Well,
allegedly.
That might be handed over to Sean Aguano, maybe. We don't know.
He's got a lot of experience at it, huh?
He doesn't. He had a hell of a – that offense was the best offense in 10 years at ASU. Did a hell of a job.
Play calling, no wins, Manuch. Remember that conversation today?
I do.